Hi. So, Kate's crying. Both boys are asleep, but they were just stirring a little bit. Our next door neighbors are having their weekly party. So, sometimes they're loud, sometimes they're quiet. So, we'll see how it goes. But we will do our best. And we'll see. Oh, Trash Can still on screen. How embarrassing. How embarrassing for us to keep Trash Can on the screen like that. Alright, see you later, Trash Can. Are you aware that next Monday is Yusuke Space Memorial Day? Is that next Monday? October something, Space Memorial Day. If I Google that, what will it say?
Oh, yeah. So it's our Thanksgiving too. If you're saying October 14th.
It's to do with it when you go and see him. I was wondering if someone clipped it.
But you're thankful for him, right?
So thankful for Yusuke. I have no idea. Every day I wake up and I think I'm so happy that I had Yusuke in my life. No one clipped it. It's somewhere though. October 14th, my Space Memorial Day, or is it October 21st? How do people have no shame, Lily? How do people have no shame? How do you just like go out and in the middle of the night like?
It's cold too. It's not even like it's August or anything.
You know, so sometimes
it's
even
what, 10
that's
or
fine.
12 degrees out.
Honestly, even then, like, how do you just go out and just blast your music and just like shout at each other while drinking for so long?
That's the key thing while drinking.
Like even during the day, like how do you not like feel like a little self-conscious about that? I don't understand. In case you're not here, that's what Lily likes to do, and you know, I'm just kind of like shaming her.
Get his trash can and
Yep.
yell.
No, it's our next door neighbors. You might be able to hear them if they get loud enough, even though the window's closed. Who did I thank last time? I think Soflon, 100 bits, the Mad Devil 0. Alright, that's it. So, thank you, Saig Blackout, or Sig Blackout, for the new sub with Prime. Thank you, that. Emon, that's Simon Peter, not that's Imon Peter. Alright, that's Simon Peter. Thank you very much. And Koodman for the resub for while the stream was down. There's no messages apart from the one from Koodman that says, such a shame that I miss a lot of the streams due to work. However, just knowing that I can kick back and relax sometime later with the VODs makes me excited. Here's to my first subscription on Twitch. Have a nice day. Alright, well this is not your first subscription on Twitch, it's a 2-month resub, so maybe this message came through late through the magic of Twitch not displaying it properly with Streamlabs. So hopefully you hear this, Koodman. Thank you very much. And since we started, thank you Supreme Cool for the 20-month resub. Oh yeah, woo yeah. Alright. I respect that. Thank you, Supreme Cool. And thank you, Falco951 for the 7-month resub. Thank you very much, Falco. Falco. Alright, so I have my link out and the game is up, and how's the sound of Isaac compared to me? Should I turn it down, turn it up? Hey Joe, do you have any experience or interest in any tabletop games? No, I played a little bit of Warhammer, the first one, not 40k, a little bit of Warhammer when I was a teenager, and I had a bad experience at a Games Workshop, and I was like, okay, screw this, I'm not doing this anymore. And I also couldn't afford to keep up with my friends at the time that were really into it, so. Isaac's loud? Okay, I turned it down. So if it's too quiet, let me know, and I will turn up a little bit. You should, like, the Q&As, the focus is on Lily and I. So as the title says, it's a Q&A. Lily's the Q, I'm the A. Lily's the QT, I'm the asshole. So there we go. So it's Q&A. Lily's also the one that reads the questions, and I'm the one that's the ass. Thank you to CK Tofu for the gifting 5 subs out to Lobster Person Live, or some say Live, Cass Grader, The Butt Stallion,
That's a good one.
Max Inaba, and Zorgrox. Cool. Thank you so much, CK Tofu, and welcome to you 5 to Pout Patrol. Pout Patrol. Go, go, go. Thank you very much, CK Tofu. It's very nice of you. Also, thank you to Vertigo 9000 for the 25-month resub. Is that the first 20? No, it's not.
No,
I think we've
it's
had
gotta be
higher.
one of the first.
I think we've had higher than 25 months. It's just I don't remember saying 25 before now. I must have, I guess. Maybe there were a bunch of 25s that became 26s while we were down. I'm not sure. Thank you, Vertigo 9000. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm smoking crack again. Thank you very much, Vertigo 9000. It would fit in Moncton, right?
Yeah. Really would.
Let's smoke some of the
I'm
crack.
surprised you haven't run into Trash Jan here yet.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Also, wow. Thank you, Nadja, for the 17 months resub. Revive Stream Art Museum on Discord. Yeah, that's a good idea. We should probably do that. Am I pronouncing your name right, by the way? Is it Nadia?
Nadia.
Nodia?
I don't know. I always think either it's Nadia or Nodia, but I think it's yeah.
Nodia?
Maybe it's Nadia. But that kind of sounds like Nadia when I say it.
Maybe we can be informed.
Can you tell us? Can you break it down?
Into a simple
Hard
parts.
J.
Hard J.
Oh, I'm wrong.
All right.
Okay.
I gotta be real talk with you right now. That doesn't help me.
So it's Nadia.
Nadia?
Ja, not ya. It's Ja.
Nodia?
Noja?
Like you say it J like Ja Rule?
Yeah.
Yeah? So
Ja. Not ya.
So Nadia Rule. Nadia.
Ja Rule.
What?
Not Ja Rule.
Yeah, Nadia Rule. Like Ja Rule comes up and says, "Hey, can I hang out with you guys?" And you're like, "Nah, nah, Ja Rule."
I'm gonna think that every time now.
Yes, like Ja Rule. Thank you, Messio, for gifting 10 subs to the following people: Murder Miner 20, Coke Monster, Via Wend Eddie or Edie, Teef Punk 198X, Squirrely Man 96, Life Rake, Raikuno, Smell of the Rain, Kami EXE, and something I can't pronounce because it's either in I think it's in kanji. I'm not sure if that's Korean or Japanese. I don't know what that is, but I can't say that. I'm very sorry. But thank you very much for that, Messio.
Very generous.
Sometimes people gift like so many subs over the course of over time, and I feel like they have a goal to make everyone who watches subbed. Because I think the amount of subs that we have compared to how many viewers we have is actually really high. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell you how many people are subbed. I think so, because some people have sub goals, right? They have like on the screen, this is how many subs we have. So I think so, but I'm not sure. I'd have to go check. Founder, 24-month subscriber. Ooh. Ooh. You definitely can. Okay, well, just in case I can't, it is more than 700. It is less than 800. There we go. That's how many we have. And I'm not sure what our viewership is, how many unique viewers we have, but I'm gonna guess like top end, like top. Oh my god, top end unique viewers we get is about 2,000. So yeah, so that's where we are. And I don't think most of them like are here regularly. There's some people that just drop in for a little bit once a week. So there we go. Just change your name to something to troll them back. Okay, so we're playing Binding of Isaac, and for whatever reason it paused it there. So I'm going to turn it up a little bit. So Binding of Isaac is a game that I only really played for the first time last week on the last Q&A. So I'm one of the last people in the world to play this properly. So Yeah, I played it a little bit before then, but nothing serious, just trying it out. So this is the remake slash sequel, Rebirth with Afterbirth, and it is a rogue-like. It is one of the first roguelikes, and we are going to play it. And while Kate just starts screaming in the background right as we start. So I don't know what any of the items do, and the game doesn't tell you. So yeah, there's probably going to be some people that are going to get really mad in chat as I misplay over and over and over again, but that's alright. We'll get through it. This deals damage to you when you go in, right? Oh no. Is Joe playing Anti-Birth? No, this is Afterbirth, but not Afterbirth Plus. Because I was told that Afterbirth Plus has some questionable changes and it might not be worth installing even though it's free. So I do not have Afterbirth Plus. If that's wrong, I believe the person who even told me said they hadn't played it in a while, and it was Wuggy, I think. Well, I was speaking to Wuggy, and Wuggy said Wuggy told me it might not be a good idea to install it the first time, and then after the stream he told me, oh, it's gotten some updates now. It might actually be okay. So we'll see. Well, that's not coming off. Tick. All right, should I keep the tick or should I keep the? Oh, they mean it. It's not coming off. Okay, nice. All right, this rock is a different color. Why? It's worth it just after 3 runs of with just Afterbirth? Okay. So,
well, if they listen carefully, they'll hear the Afterbirth anyway.
Oh, that was a rare dad joke from Lily there. Nice. All right, we found some shit. Lunch.
I have my moments.
HP up. Nice dad joke there.
Thank you.
You know what? Because you did that, you know what?
Oh.
You can read the book.
Wow.
Pick a page.
It's a rare honor.
Pick a page. I'll allow it.
What is the definition of Robin?
I don't know. What's the definition of Robin?
A bird who steals. He's Robin, get it?
That's awful.
People can say that zebras are carnivores, but they'd be lying. Some of these are really dumb. What did the seal with a broken arm say to the shark?
What?
Do not consume if seal is broken.
Oh, oh, that one's good.
That's the best one.
That one's actually good. There's a joke by a comedian that I don't know which comedian it was, but I heard a long time ago, and he said, you know, the other day I was eating, I wanted to eat a box of animal crackers, and on the box it said, do not consume if seal is broken. And I opened the box, and what do you know? The goddamn seal was broken. Shielded tears. Okay, so let's start off with any questions from chat at all, and then we will begin with the first Patreon question. Any quick questions from chat, if you guys don't mind. No big long questions to start us off, if you guys can do that. And while they come in, thank you to Bendro the Butts for gifting a sub to Quack Attack. It's a very goosey sub name, huh? Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Bendro the Butts. Welcome to Pout Patrol.
But is it all it's quacked up to be?
Oh wow, you're in rare form tonight. Holy crap. Wow, I have some competition.
You're just bad for me.
Do you know
they're smoking something up there in the fumes.
They're laughing at yours. Do you know? They never laugh at mine. Do you know how many? Like last stream, right? I was reading all these puns from this book. Okay, you know what? Like there was one point I read like 2 pages, which was like 10 puns to make them laugh, but no pun intended.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started. You're right. We're just getting started.
Got like 3 more hours at
Buddhist
least for
man,
this.
everyone loves Lily. Everyone loves Lily. No one loves Joe.
You gotta send back the love. That's lots of Lily love.
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions in chat, so
No.
let's just go for the
Yeah, I
for
don't
a
know where
Patreon
we are
question.
though.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't know where we are. We're back at the beginning.
Oh, we're back at the beginning. I'm sorry. Can I pause this? I can. Nice. We have the technology. Is this a Q&A? Kinda, yeah. You might not know that. Okay, Drone Punk.
We did these ones. Oh,
Uh-oh.
shit.
Incoets.
Incoets. Thank you.
Incoets. There you go. Incoets.
I think we did Ian last.
Yeah. Rolf Clogs, did we answer your question?
I don't think so.
Rolf Clogs. I don't think we did. There were a few questions in chat before that jokes. Okay, we'll grab them after we answer the first question and from Patreon. Sorry about that. Also, so you know, again, like at the beginning of all these, I like to explain the format. So we answer questions that were listed from a prompt on Patreon. The prompt is from a long time ago. I think it's from March because we took a break from doing these due to having a baby, and so it's back now, and we're seeing how it goes because right now we have 3 kids in the house, and it's hard for us both to do this, and I don't really have time to do it the other way with the big Witcher video going on. So we are going to try our best, and if it goes well, and so far it's been going okay, we will make this a weekly Friday thing, and we will also start taking questions from Twitch subs as well. So probably if this goes well and we finish tonight, I'll set up the new room tomorrow in the Discord, and if you're a Twitch sub, you'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to leave a question. But it's gonna have to be, you know, like, don't leave any comments in it. Just put your questions in there, and then we'll answer them on Fridays as they come in. But tonight we're just doing Patreon questions and any questions as we see them from chat. So I can't guarantee that your question is going to be answered if you're spamming in chat. The best way to get your question answered is if you ask them after we finish answering a question on Patreon. Sometimes the question askers on Patreon have more than one question though, so it's a list that we already have in front of us, so you might want to you know, like, don't stick around thinking that your question is definitely going to be answered. Can't guarantee that, sorry. And that's it. So yeah, go ahead.
Ralph Clogs says, "Hey Joe, can I get any opinions on Sekiro? And are you interested in any other games in the Punch-Out series? Hope you're doing okay."
So I don't think this is a serious question, especially because we've talked about Sekiro before. I think Ralph Clogs is just making a joke that it's just like Punch-Out because of the rhythm and back and forth to it all. And
Yeah,
after you get the rhythm down,
a smiley face.
yeah,
Tongue out.
there's a tongue out face at the end. So yeah, I think we're good. Thank you, Ralph Clogs. And then
Did you experience
the serious question,
Did you experience any character development over the Kate campaign arc, and did you learn any new techniques?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough question. I must have, right? Like, every kid is a journey, you know, and you learn from them. So I guess I must have, it's in some level, but I can't think of it on the top of my head. The biggest things I learned, let me think about the things I learned having the kids the first time. And one of the things that it really confirmed with me that I'm actually really good under pressure. And, you know, there was a lot of belittlement on the part of from the nurses. Not so much the doctors. I'm not sure if Lily can confirm this for me or not. But yeah, there was some belittlement because I was the man in the room, like the soon-to-be father in the room.
Yeah, especially with Finn.
Yeah, and it's like I think it was definitely with Finn. So I think it's like new fathers are considered to be a little
squeamish.
Yeah, squeamish and inadequate. You know, like it was. Then again, when I took Leo to the hospital recently, there was another moment like that. But yeah, it's like when Lily, I 1 second. I have to ask Lily permission to tell you something. 1 second, I need to mute the microphone. Alright, that's it. So let me get my thing back. Alright, so Lily had a the first birth, Lily had an epidural, and if you're not aware what an epidural is, like Lily can explain real quick.
They put a really big needle in your spine, and it numbs you from the waist down. And it's the most effective pain medication they can give you. It will wear off eventually. You are attached to a little pump, and when you have pain or pressure, you push the button, and it just kind of gradually numbs you so that you don't feel when the contractions get really, really bad. It's like a big upholstery needle. It really fucking hurts. Don't think that it doesn't hurt because it's a needle. It actually really does hurt. Go on.
Okay. And Lily had another one for Leo, but you didn't have one for Kate.
Didn't have one for Kate
because there was no time. So
I'm glad I didn't want. I went in thinking I wasn't gonna have one that time, and then it was happening so fast that I was like, I want one. Get me one right now. And they were like, the anesthesiologist is in surgery, and as soon as she was out, like literally within 5 minutes, the doctor pokes his head in and goes, "Do you still want that epidural?"
So Lily had the dark souls of births with baby Kate. You know, she did it drug free, no epidural, and it was over really, really fast compared to the other two. Anyway, so when Lily had the epidural with Finn, so we had no kids at this point. Like Finn was our first child. They were like, there was a nurse there that we really, really didn't like, and the nurse was like, you know, you should sit down, right? When it came to, no, it was different. When you had the epidural, they made me leave the room, didn't they? But what was the one where they're like, you should sit down for this? And I was like, I'm really fine. Like, I'm not gonna be worried about sitting down. I don't need to be sitting down for this.
Did you leave the room for Finn? Because I know you left the room when I had it with Leo. Because I wanted you to leave the room when you had Finn, and I was scared Finn was gonna get scared.
Am I getting the two births mixed up together? Maybe I am.
Possibly.
Okay, yeah. I think you're right.
Finn, you were there, but they wanted you to sit down.
They wanted me to sit down. I was like, I'm really fine. It's fine. Don't worry. I don't need to sit down. And they like insisted, like, you have to sit down because fathers faint all the time, and we don't want you to faint. And now we have to deal with you. You know, like while like the needle goes into her spine. I'm like, okay, you know, I'll sit down, but it's fine. And something similar happened when I took Leo to the hospital recently. I told the story a couple of Q&As ago. I won't get back into all the details, but Leo had to get a few stitches because he like I think 3, because he split open his forehead right above his eyebrow. And when he was getting the stitches, they were like treating me like I was made of glass as well. Like, you know, are you sure you can stand up? Are you sure you can sit down while we're doing this? You know what I mean? So I don't know what it is about like the how, I mean, it's just everyone's treated that way.
You were there when Finn and Leo were born. Like, you were right there. So I don't understand how that's better. Than the needle.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to me to think that would be worse, you know?
Yeah, it was way worse, you know. Again, I've asked for permission for the epidural, so I think it's okay to say this. It's way worse seeing, you know, someone come out of someone than it is, you know, a needle going in the spine, you know? Like, it's like, and again, I was fine with that. So I don't know, it's weird. Like when Lily was giving birth with Finn, toward the end of it, there was like a team in there, and there was the doctor, and there was a bunch of nurses, and they were worried that there was something wrong with him as they were coming out.
With the epidural, if you get the epidural and the birth takes too long, it can be hard on the baby. And so right when it was time for me to Finn was a 32-hour labor. That's why I got the epidural, because it was already like, 18 hours or something by the time we got to the hospital. So I was like, it's gotta be soon. I can't take any more of this. Let's just get the epidural. And then it went on even longer. So 32 hours and then a lot of epidural for him. By the time it was time to push, his heart rate was kind of spiking and irregular. So they wanted him out really, really fast. And the first time you have a baby, you can push for hours. Like, it takes a long time for your body to figure out how to push and for you to push that baby down and out. So most women push for hours. I only had 45 minutes before they were like, no, we're going in and we're helping you. So they put like this giant suction tube thing on his head and they pulled him out while I pushed so that they could get him out really quickly.
Because they were worried, yeah. Whereas, you know, Kate's birth, it's over before like the duration of most streams that we do right now. crazy fast.
But it still was intense. Like,
Yeah.
Even though like it's.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Most people will be like, "Oh, it was really fast, so it was easy." It was not easy. It was just as hard, if not harder, than the other ones. But it was at least quick. So at least it wasn't a lot of suffering over a long period of time.
No, childbirth's really easy. Don't be a wimp. What are you talking about?
But anyway, yeah, we had a team in the room at the end.
Yeah, so we had
and
a
they
team.
really wanted that baby out. They were really. I was starting to think C-section. Like they were really worried.
Yeah, so there was the doctor, and I think 2 nurses were acting like cheerleaders, and they kept saying this thing that I guess I don't know if it was practice. This is what they've been instructed to say when they get to this point. But the slogan they kept saying was, "Oh, it's like Bomberman." Was not that they weren't saying it's like Bomberman. They were saying "get mad." They kept saying to like push, get mad, like like get mad and push him out. And I know Lily very well, and Lily's just laying there, and I can see it on her face. Yeah, she's getting mad. She's getting mad at you. Like, shut the fuck up, right? And like, and at one point, one of the older, more experienced nurses comes into the room, and is like hearing this, like the younger doctor and the younger nurses say this.
And they were so upbeat about it. Get mad, push, get mad. Like,
Or
shut the fuck up.
Or they were like completely like dead emotionally, like just reciting it over and over and over again. Yeah. And I just kind of look at the older nurse and just kind of like smirk, like this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And then she had to come over and say to this, and I will never forget this because it was so classic. She said to the doctor and the other nurses, "You guys need to be quiet. You're making more noise than the patient." Anyway, so it's like, but there was little things too. Like it's like there was a fold out chair that is like a big armchair that's bigger than most armchairs, that can become a bed that you can lay down in. And they was like to me, "Oh, you can fold that out if you want." And like, and I just did it first try, and the nurse was like, "Oh wow, I had a guy in here and he didn't even know how to do that earlier." And I'm like, who the fuck are these fathers that are coming in and they have all these problems while they're, I don't know. So I guess what I learned, because I don't really have that high of an opinion of myself, despite, what some people think of me. But one thing I did learn about myself is that I'm pretty good under pressure. And usually times when something has gone wrong in our lives, like I can usually deal with it fairly well.
Well, again, Finn was the first one, so we were there for a long time, but the epidural worked, so I was pretty numb. So, it was until the end. The end is still bad no matter whether you get the epidural or not. Like, you still feel like the baby's coming out. Like, it's not magic. But with Leo, you had Finn there. And so I think that was the harder one of them, because Finn was only 18 months old and we didn't have anyone to look after him. So Finn was there when Leo was born. And while I was in charge of getting Leo out, and Joe was helping a little bit, but Joe had Finn all the time, constantly, taking him in and out and keeping him entertained and stuff while I was in labor. So I think that was the harder one that you had to deal with under pressure, because you had Finn. And I was pretty out of it. I don't really remember much at the end what was going on there. So. And
for the third one, I wasn't there, because I had to stay home with.
What happened so fast?
Yeah, and it happened so fast. Yeah, and it was just Whereas there was.
I texted Joe at 9:20 or something and said, "They're gonna break my water. I get to stay," because they weren't sure if they were gonna send me home or not, and they were like, "You're ready, but you're not technically in active labor yet," even though I was kind of almost there. So the contractions were getting more stronger and more regular and everything. So I texted him and I said, "They're gonna keep me. They're gonna break my water." And I think they broke it around 9:45 or something, 9:45. They broke my water. So when I got settled in the room, it was 10 something. I texted him again and said, "The contractions are getting really strong and everything. But the doctor thinks it'll be in the morning, probably by the end of her shift. I'm gonna have this baby." So Joe says, "Okay, so I'll wake the kids around 6 then, and I'll come and they'll be there for the end." And then I was busy, so I called him at 12:15 and said, "Guess what?"
She wanted Father's Day, right?
Yeah. Guess what?
She wanted Father's Day.
I had a baby half an hour ago. Sorry, couldn't wait. She wanted that day.
So yeah, to finally get around to answering your question, then I don't really know if there's any big character development. I learned. So I learned this lesson fairly early on in my life, and that lesson is that no one really knows what the fuck they're doing, and it's just everyone's just kind of winging it. And there's procedure, and procedure is really, really important. And it made me like, I'm not like a huge fan of it, but it made me kind of appreciate finally like bureaucracy and like societal like structure and rules and everything, because we kind of need that to function. Like I still feel like I'm a little bit of a rebel. Gotta have a little bit of a rebel heart in you, but most people don't really know what they're doing, and having that structure, even if it is inefficient, is often really, really worthwhile. But I knew that for a while, but it was like really confirmed again when we had Kate. Just all these little problems that ended up happening with and some not so little, some quite large actually. But like, yeah, just don't trust people in authority to always make the best decision for you and your family. Like have faith, expect the best, but plan for the worst, sort of thing. And just make sure that you always have, like, there's always backup plans and things like that. So, but I wouldn't say that's something new that I learned with Kate. I don't know if there's anything. I feel like I was expecting to feel differently, like, oh, now I have a daughter. Daughter is different than having a son, maybe. And I was really curious. I said this to Lily when we had the boys. I said, like, it's pretty, I think this is universal, right? Like, daddy's girl, mama's boy, like, right? Is that something that, oh, are we dead? What? I don't understand what's going on here. Is this because of the cat? Like that daddy's girl, mommy's boy, is that something that's like worldwide, that sort of thing? So I wondered if it's like, just like absent like curiosity, like, is there something like is like the love that you feel for your kids, is it more intense in that way? Like, do mothers feel like love stronger for their sons more than fathers do, and like do fathers feel more love for their daughters, sort of thing? So I was curious about that, if it was going to be any different when we had a girl, and like same for Lily, and for me it's not, and I think you feel the same way.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's completely the same, and I think it's going to be just from a just like a one-on-one kind of thing, like, because I don't believe in unconditional love either. I don't think that's a thing. I think that's a complete lie. And I know from my own experience that parents can play favorites, and I'm pretty sure kids can play favorites too. And I want to be very careful not to do that. But I don't know if there's any other character things. Do you think there's anything? Any other life lessons?
I think they have their own personalities. She's a moodier baby.
She's a goose feather.
She's a goose feather, and she's very sometimes she just wants to be social, and she just wants to be held and hang out. And the boys were never like that. The boys, you could feed them, put them down, leave them, and they would just doze or entertain themselves or whatever. But no, she doesn't honk. She screams. She's got good lungs, and she's just a moodier baby.
She's the hardest baby by far.
And Finn was very chill. Leo was somewhere in the middle, but mostly they only screamed if they were hungry, And Finn, even when he was hungry, sometimes he wouldn't cry. I'd have to look at the clock and be like, "Oh, you should be fed," like, you're not even crying, and then he would eat. But
well, yeah, okay. Let's not get into that. Maybe that's a story for another time. There's a reason for that. Again, that links back to like life lesson bullshit. Yeah.
I do want to say that there's a nursing student here who's like, your experiences are helping me. That I'm working with an OB or whatever, a nursing student. I want to say, after I had 3 kids at 2 separate hospitals, and I had different doctors deliver all of them, and different nursing staff, that Kate's birth was by far the very best experience that I've ever had. Being on my own, I was a little bit nervous, because who wants to have a baby all by themselves? Like, you do it because you have to, but I don't think anyone would choose to be like, yeah, you stay home with the kids and I'll go do it by myself, right? I had an amazing doctor and an amazing nurse, and the doctor was actually there putting washcloths on my forehead and talking me through it. And the nurse was like, "You can hold my hand and squeeze as hard as you want, and like, you're alone, but you're not really alone. We're here for you." And they stayed with me for the whole time. And that was really, like, compared to what I had with the other 2, they were coming and going all the time. The doctor was late for Leo. Like, they were really, really amazing bedside manner. I can't stress it enough. So if you want to know in terms of experience, and you want to know like what to do, what's a good thing to take away, like, be there for them, hold their hand, you know, talk them through it, washcloths, whatever they want, whatever they need. They were going through my bag and bringing me stuff I needed. You know, they were very, very good. So yeah, from a nursing perspective, it's not all, you know, medicine, right? Bedside manner is really important,
I agree.
especially when you're having a baby. But yeah, in terms of anything new, I don't know.
That's an experience I've never had though. I've never been in the hospital for myself where I've had to like benefited from bedside manner, you know.
They were great, and then you're done, right? And then you go to the postpartum ward, and you get all new doctors and nurses, and then it's less desired for. But you know, it's the actual birth team was really good. The doctor said to me afterward, she kissed my hand and she said, "You were a great patient, and if you decide to have another baby, I hope I get to deliver it, because through every contraction and everything, you know, like I was in pain. I was a bit loud. I was crying, you know, like it's what happens. There's a baby coming out of you and you have no medication." She said I was saying sorry after every time and thanking them.
So Canadian.
"Sorry, I'm so loud. Thank you." They put the washcloth on my forehead. "Thank you." They'd hold my hand. "Thank you." And so they were like, you're one of their. She said to me, "You're one of the reasons why I do this. Like, I wish they were all like you." So that was really sweet. So that's something nice you can say to a patient after she's just had a baby and she's a little overwhelmed. That was nice.
The only nice doctor in Moncton. Hashtag not
nicer
kidding.
than my actual doctor who stayed with me through the whole pregnancy but wasn't there for the birth.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. There's I don't know. Yeah. There's got to be something. I just can't think of it. You know, I don't. I think those sort of lessons you have to really think about them for a while. Like you have to collect your thoughts, and I haven't really done that. You know, like part of me is still surprised she's here, and that's not just because of all the work that's going on too. It's just how it is when you have a kid. It's like, oh wow, what this takes some adjustment. You know, like even when Kate got here, I feel like I was only just getting used to having Leo. Whoa, that was not what I was expecting to happen. You know?
I feel like with each of them I get a little bit more confident. With Finn, I was terrified of how to pick him up and put him down. With Leo, I was still a little bit nervous. With her, I'm still not perfect, but I think I got better. And how, you know, because you have to support the neck and everything. It's not easy picking them up and putting them down, and they're so small. But yeah,
what the fuck just happened in the game?
Your swaddles get better, you know, your formula skills get better.
None of them had like took to the swaddle as much as Finn did. So I developed these crazy swaddle skills, and then like I didn't get to use them on the other ones. I'm really disappointed.
And he was the summer one. You think, you know,
Yeah.
he was so hot he wouldn't have wanted one.
What a swaddle is? I just in case someone doesn't know, a swaddle is when you what? Can we bomb this? Is when you wrap them in a tight small blanket to simulate sort of being back in the womb. You know, like you bind their arms and legs together against themselves, and they like that. It makes them feel like they're back in the womb, and they usually settles them down. Hey, how's it going, Wiggy?
Kind of like a burrito, yeah, kind of like a burrito.
Kind of like a baby burrito, yeah, for sure. All right, so what's in the bed? Oh wait, can you rest on this for full healing and we're just not damaged, so it's not happening? All right, we got a chest. Oh, it's a bomb. Oh.
Funny, my mom had my brother with no painkillers, thinking it would be okay. Tells me it was the worst 7 hours of her life. Had me with painkillers and was asleep until the last 20 minutes. You could sleep. You're so numb that you could sleep. But I was too excited with Finn. Like, it was my first time. I'm in the hospital thinking he could come out at any time, right? I could be ready at any time. And the nurse is like, go to sleep, get some rest. You're gonna need it. There's gonna be a baby to look after when this is done. I couldn't sleep.
It's completely overblown, by the way. I had a leg cramp that hurt way more than what Lily went through. Mm-hmm. Women just don't know what they're talking about when it comes to
we just can't take pain.
Yeah.
Like I stubbed my toe earlier. I was pretty much the same thing.
Less is now more plus 2 keys. Okay. Like men know that, you know, just having someone think about kicking you in the balls just hurts way more than childbirth. Like women have no idea. Women have it so easy. So easy.
So easy.
So easy. There's no comparison. No comparison at all. All right, so thank you, Elfcogs. I hope that we gave you something at least. I don't know. Like I feel like that was a bad answer to your question, but not a bad talk. But yeah, I don't really have anything to say about that. Sorry. Unless, like, do you have anything that you feel like you went through some character development or in the Kate arc?
If I had to say anything, it's being a mom to 3 kids, all under 4. Like Finn just turned 4. And Finn is getting more independent and he wants to help. And sometimes that means he legitimately helps, and other times he makes something harder that you then have to fix. But like, I gave him laundry to put away and he just unfolded it and threw it all over the living room. So like, then I had to go pick it all up and refold it again. That wasn't very helpful, but he means well. You know, he wants to help, and sometimes he really does help me. But Leo is 2, and Leo's into everything, and Kate's a baby. So when they all need something at the same time, it's hard to kind of get your balance there. And sometimes you'll finish with one, and then as soon as that one's done, the next one, and then the next one, and then the other one needs something again, and you're kind of just going from one to the next to the next to the next for a while, and you don't have a chance to really think about what you're doing. It's just go. So I think it wasn't so much having another baby. The birth thing was the real curveball for me, because like I said, like, it was just so quick. It was like I had so many false alarms leading up to that birth for months. I thought I was going to go into preterm labor. Like, I had contractions for months, and they hurt, and I thought, this is it, she's going to come early. And then she came right on her real due date. And then when she came, it was like, I still didn't know I was in labor when I went to the hospital. You know, like, we didn't know when it was going to be that night. And then going through it with the doctor and the nurse like that, and then you're on your own after. And with Finn and with Leo, I had Joe there to help me, but it was my first time. That's probably what it is. That's probably the biggest one.
What?
Well, I've never had a baby before, and then been expected to be in a room all by myself, and every time she cries, I have to get out of bed with my stitches and waddle over, you know, and like pick her up and try to feed her and like
you feel like
change her.
Your mom leveled up, your mom's skill?
I think so, like, because before I would be in the bed, right, and you would do that, you know. I just kind of had myself to look after, and I would look after the baby like 50%, but you were there looking after the baby too. And neither of us would get any sleep, whereas I was alone not getting any sleep. And
I really enjoyed that. I'm sorry that I wasn't there for that. I really enjoyed the
Finn's experience was really day. Something. That's one of my favorite memories with us, actually, was when you came back to the hospital after you went home to walk the dogs. And I had a nap. And I woke up, and it was just kind of the 3 of us at like 5 a.m, just kind of, you were holding Finn and he'd fallen asleep. And you went and got us breakfast.
Yeah, I remember.
That was a really good morning, with just the 3 of us for the first time.
That was cool. Yeah, I think I took to being a dad quite well.
Yeah.
Someone in chat is asking, like, did we ever see ourselves as parents when we were younger? And like, not the whole time. I mean, there were times in my life where I was like, I don't want to have kids because I don't think the world is a nice enough place to bring more kids into it. Kind of like that edgelord phase. Which isn't, you know, all that off, to be perfectly honest, you know, but I, most of the time, yeah, I just assumed, like, yeah, one day I'm going to be a dad, and I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, kind of, yeah.
No, not at all. I never saw myself as a mom. To the point that I worried I would be a horrible mother, because I didn't think I was very maternal. I was never around kids much, so I didn't know how to comfort them, and I didn't know how to play with them and talk to them. I was always kind of the kid who would hang out with the adults at the birthday party more than the kids, you know? So I was really, really worried about that. But it's kind of different when it's your kids and you're with them constantly. You just kind of learn. You just kind of learn on your feet.
But then I'm really good with kids. Like, whenever there's, like, kids around, like, I can like, befriend the kid pretty much instantly. Like, me and kids are cool.
You took really well. You were, like, right away. And you were really good at picking them up and everything right from the beginning, whereas I didn't have a clue. You just adapted very well.
I have a question for Chad, actually, that's related to this. Are any specifically men in the chat? Are any of you, and I mean this in a specific way, okay? Like, because no one is going to envy a woman having to go through childbirth and the pain and the agony that comes with. But are any men in the chat, and there's no right or wrong answer here, are any men in the chat kind of envious that women get to like create a life and have that big momentous kind of thing that they can do in their lives that you can never do? That they can grow another person? Are any men feel kind of like that would be kind of interesting, or that would be an experience? There's a couple of people saying yes, but mostly it says no.
No.
Okay,
It's really a cool experience.
If you're saying no, is it specifically because you really don't want to go through the pain? The question is specifically like, just imagine you didn't have to go through that part. Is anyone like a little envious? Because I sometimes when Lily was pregnant, it's like I felt a little envious. I was like, oh, you know what, like this is a unique experience, and you know I'm a little envious, just a little bit. But if I could do that, I don't think I would, because I don't think I could handle it.
Okay, but see, I've made it sound really bad now. I've made it sound really bad, but it's not. Imagine that you're doing something for like almost 10 months, and you've got this project that you're working on, and it's like the project is growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger and developing all the time. And
so Witcher.
And you're seeing you're seeing Witcher, right? Form and kick from the inside, and you're like, oh, that's nice. I can see Witcher roll across my stomach, you know, and like, oh, look, that's a butt, you know, like you can like.
There are butts in Witcher.
There are butts.
This is right on so far, yeah.
But then you go into the hospital and you're scared, but you're in pain, but you're also really excited because, one, you don't get to have to go home pregnant anymore. This is the end. Okay, that's really exciting shit after being pregnant for 9 months. But also you get a baby, and you get the baby forever until it turns 18 and it leaves. But you get the baby forever, right? Like it's a really good reward. And then, so you go through all of the labor, and you're right at the end, and it's like the whole goal is just get the baby out, get the baby out, get the baby out. And then the baby's out, and it's just a moment of just pure adrenaline and pure, like, relief that it's over. And they hand you the baby, and they put the baby on your chest, and you look at the baby for the first time, and there's this little face squinting at you because they can't really see. And it's, like, just amazing. It's just, like... It stops hurting as soon as it's out, more or less. Like, comparatively, the pain that was like 120 off the charts, you know, a moment or two earlier is suddenly gone. You know, the pressure's gone, the contractions have stopped. Like,
and I feel like I had that sort of that same experience with like the first time I held Finn, and Leo and Kate, but mostly Finn, because it was that's the first kid, you know what I mean, and that's the most amazing one. But that's why I wonder, is like, was it had to have been more of a moment for you, considering you're the one that went through it all.
It's just pure adrenaline. Remember with Finn, I cried.
Yeah.
I bawled my eyes out after Finn was born, because it was just pure shock after going through that and being told push for so long, get mad, and then all of a sudden it's like you take a deep breath and then it's done. Like, there's just nothing left to do. Like, it's out, you know, the baby's out, it's over, and you're just kind of stunned, you know. And then it's like they hand you this baby, and it's like, oh my god, like, this is the baby that I've been carrying around for 9 months, you know. This is nice to meet you, welcome, you know. Like, it's really something. It's not all bad. If it was all bad, I wouldn't do it. But it's like the worst pain of your life, but once it's over, it's really a great moment. It's all their births were like some of my best days, you know. Like,
mm-hmm.
So yeah. So for all of you saying no, just keep that, you know, in the back of your mind, that it's not all bad. It hurts like you know, but it's not all bad. It's a good reward. But yeah, I felt I leveled up after she was born. I felt like I was in the room the first night by myself, and there was no nurse, like, for hours that came in. Like, they came in once or twice to check, and then I don't know where they went. There was nobody. It was just me and her for, like, I don't know, 8 hours or something straight of, like, nothing. And I'd feed her, I'd change her diaper, I'd hold her, I'd look at her, I'd admire her a little bit, I'd put her down, I'd pretend to sleep, but that wasn't happening. And, like, I felt like I was all by myself, you know, and I did good. Like, I handled it.
If you were to describe birth as a Dark Souls boss,
oh, but I don't know all of them.
Which one?
Is there anyone that has claws?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I would imagine it is like something clawing its way out of something else.
Okay.
Like tunneling, like...
All right.
It's more like imagine something coming from underground and they're like tunneling, and then they burst at the top and then they're free. So if there's a Dark Souls boss kind of like that, then...
Yeah. Okay. All right, so Ralph Clogs asked in chat a little while ago, you know, like, what's my opinion on Punch-Out then? I've never played Punch-Out, actually, so I can't answer that. So, yeah, that might surprise some of you, but yeah, I don't know why. That's a game that I've never played. Yeah, so sorry I can't talk about that either.
I think we talked about the other one a long time.
Someone asked earlier also, do I prefer Coke or Pepsi? And both of us prefer Coke. To the point that if the store only has Pepsi, I might not even get it. You know, like I don't really like Pepsi. Pepsi's kind of gross compared to Coke. I guess like in a pinch, if you're getting fast food or whatever, and they only have Pepsi, it's like, yeah, okay.
I served someone once.
If it's to bring it back, you know,
who
no.
brought their own Coke. We only had Pepsi at the restaurant, and they actually had a little bag from the convenience store with Coke, and they were like, "Don't tell anybody." And I was like, "This is my tip, so sure. Do you want me to pour that into some glasses for you?" And I did.
Have you seen the joke where someone goes up to the bartender and orders a drink and says, "Can I have a rum and Coke?" And the bartender says, "Is Pepsi okay?" And the guy says yes, and then the bartender pours Pepsi and Coke into a glass and gives it to him. Yeah, I prefer Coke. Soda is I've been trying quite hard recently to drink less soda. I've been successful with it. Soda is like my only bad habit when it comes to like in that realm of bad habits of like poor eating habits or drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes or doing drugs or anything like that. I don't do any of those things, but soda is like my only vice. I would say I really like soda. But I only really drink two sodas. There's Coke. I really like Coke, and there's a Scottish soda called Iron Brew that I really really like. And they just recently started selling it here. They're canning it in Canada now. So yeah, I'm happy about that. People in Britain probably know what Iron Brew is. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but I really like Iron Brew. Where I'm from, Coke equals all soda. It's not. Yeah, just like your mom always said, you know, Nintendo, even though it was a PlayStation or a Dreamcast or whatever. Only weeps had Dreamcasts though, so I'm sure none of you had Dreamcasts. Are there any other questions from chat that we missed?
Hey Lily, have you thought about doing critiques or reviews? Not necessarily video games, but perhaps books or movies or something. I don't think I'd be a good reviewer. I think I'm not analytical enough in terms of for that. I'm analytical for other things. But when I experience media, it's usually, do I like it or I don't like it? Did I think the story was well done, and then what constitutes well done? Or did I find like the atmosphere was effective, or, you know, this kind of thing. I don't think that I have enough. Like with Joe, he has all this like stuff to back up his arguments, and I don't think I would have that. I don't think I really get that out of when I read or experience something.
What are you guys talking about pressing space? I don't know what that means. I'm pressing space. I'm pressing space. It's not doing anything. Use item.
So yeah, I don't think I'd be very good at reviews or critiques, but I did think about doing something like that for a while, but I don't think it's kind of weird because I write books, so it's kind of not fair, you know, like just because I think something was well done in this or not well done in that doesn't mean I'm necessarily any better, right? So like, who am I to really judge that when I do it too? I think you said something similar, right? That you don't want to review books for the same reason.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I tell them what I want to do?
Yeah, sure, you can. If you want to, go for it.
It doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
You don't need to ask me about that. Yeah, go for it.
Which is something we've spoken about a lot.
Yeah.
I'm playing with the idea of maybe having my own mental health channel. Like Joe has his for video games. There's stuff that's come up in the Discord's mental health area that I've spoken to a lot of different people. Some of them have had similar issues. I get a lot of messages from people, and I have a lot of back and forth with them. sometimes I feel like I'm kind of saying the same things or similar things to different people, and it made me think that maybe I could reach more people if I was saying them, you know, on a channel, on camera, to a wider audience, you know, different topics and stuff that I've been through. And again, I'm not a professional, so it wouldn't be any kind of replacement for therapy or anything, but it just might spark conversation, and, you know, we'll see what comes of it, kind of thing. But I haven't decided for sure if I actually want to do it, because that's a big commitment, and I have 3 kids, and, you know, my own stuff going on too. But if I was going to have any kind of channel or do any kind of review or anything like that, that's what I would do.
There you go. Sorry that I wasn't using the item. I didn't know it was an item that you could use because it didn't have an energy bar. I thought it was just something that you just kind of hold. Yeah, see, this one has an energy bar. I don't really understand how that one works, sorry. What's this? Is this the whole level? Huh, okay. This is probably the secret room, right?
You can do it one day, don't rush. Yeah, but it sounds wonderful, and I'm sure many people would be helped by it. Thank you. We'll see. We'll see what happens. If I do it, it won't be anytime soon. It will be something in the future, and as a big umbrella, maybe. But if I do something, that's what I will do.
Someone asked a couple times, am I excited for the Xenoblade remake? I'm not excited, but we'll probably play it on stream at some point. Chat seems to absolutely love when I play like weeb games, especially JRPGs, it seems. Just because of like if you're watching the Code Vein right now, just because just ridiculous shit just happens in those games, it seems. So I would enjoy probably enjoy that and streaming that experience, but I'm not sure if I would play it on my own. But yeah, we'll probably do it at some point, but I'm not promising. Someone is also asking about Nier Automata. Are we gonna play? Is there gonna be a video on that? That will probably still happen, but the only other video that I am absolutely 100% promising right now is the Sekiro video after Witcher. All the others might not happen. But yeah, there's probably a lot on the list that will happen, but I'm not gonna promise it right now because I don't know what's gonna happen after the Witcher video is done. The Witcher video is like holding your breath for a really, really long time, and then when it's done, it's gonna be like finally being able to let all that go, and I don't know how I'm gonna feel at the end of that.
You're gonna be handed a baby. Same thing.
Yeah. Just way worse though, because it's way worse to make a Witcher video than have a baby. You don't even know.
Well, I don't want to say it.
Okay. Will you tell me later?
I'll probably forget by then.
What?
I don't think. I was gonna say that, like, how much time has gone into this already, right?
Yeah.
You've been working on this for months and months and months already. So
More than
by
that,
the time it's done, it'll be longer than a pregnancy.
Oh yeah.
So
It's already longer than a pregnancy, yeah.
I've lost track now of how long this has been going. So
I think it's about 2 years.
the pregnancy is
not,
like 9.5
not,
months.
Not
like,
100% like that's all I'm working on, but yeah, about 2 years. Yeah.
So there you go. It's your Witcher baby.
Still have loose plans to play Outer Wilds. Yeah, we're gonna play it on stream. Yep. Okay, can I diagonally cross? Oh, nice. Okay, I don't know what the tower does. Should I just use it?
Last Q&A, you spoke about having dreams that were unnervingly close to reality. Do you know about reality checks that can be used to initiate lucid dreaming, like holding your nose closed, and if you can still breathe through it, you are dreaming? Are the dreams so realistic that reality checks like that don't work?
I don't think I've ever tried that one in particular, but my reality check is when I close my eyes and try to imagine a fist breaking out from behind my eyes. Like from directly like around my forehead. If I do that right now, like I can actually feel quite an intense building of pressure there when I do that. And if I'm asleep, that wakes me up every single time. So that's my reality check. So maybe I've never had to develop one of the other ones. Yeah. But holding your nose, yeah, would probably work. I don't know. Like I don't know. No, I think it would probably work. Maybe next time I think I'm asleep, I'll try it and see what happens.
Then use your telekinetic.
Telekinetic.
Do you get sleep paralysis? Yeah.
Yes, I do get sleep paralysis. Yeah, and I hate it. Not to be super morbid or anything, but I used to say that if sleep paralysis became a regular thing, like it was happening for extended periods, every single time that I went to sleep or woke up, I would kill myself.
Sorry, no,
Just,
I'm not
just
laughing
straight
at
up. No, you're laughing at that because
No.
you're secretly evil. But no, now if I had that, I wouldn't because we have the kids.
that. No, I was laughing at. I swear the last Q&A was a week ago because it was. It was.
Yeah. Bent Neck Joe. Oh, good reference. Good reference.
Traumatized for life.
Such a good show. Will you watch it again?
I kind of want to watch it again.
Would you? We're talking about the Haunting Hill House, by the way. Would you watch it again?
I want to watch it again because now I know things I didn't know, and I want to go back and watch it because then I'll see all the things that I didn't see before, right? That always happens to me because when we watch things, you tend to figure out the ending, and I don't. And I kind of like that I don't figure out the ending because then I'm shocked at the end, right? But then you miss all the little things.
I've been trying to do that much less as I get older. There used to be like a game I would play whenever I watched a movie or something. Would be like, oh, do I know where this is going? And sometimes you can see it just happen like kind of automatically on stream where it's just like, yeah. But like I try like when you construct stories yourself, you can usually see where the construction is leading.
But I don't want to see.
I
like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I try not to do it.
I would say like it was so well done that it would be. If someone's saying favorite TV shows, it would be up there for me because it was so well done, that one part that I was just
really. It's one of your favorites.
I was blown away by that.
There were some episodes in that were like some of the strongest I've seen, especially in a horror TV show. But that might be like one of the only horror TV shows I've ever seen. We agree on 6 Feet Under, right? 6 Feet Under is one of our favorites.
Might be my favorite.
Yeah.
Like of all, if you take Friends out, because Friends is just for nostalgic purposes. Like Friends isn't so much.
Friends is interesting. It's fun.
It doesn't hold up as well now that it did 10 years ago, though. You know, like
Hmm.
it's. And for me, I'm watching it and rewatching it, and it's. I'm a teenager again. You know, like it's up there with like Dawson's Creek and stuff that I'll watch just for sentimental purposes. You know, not that it's any good, but 6 Feet Under. 6 Feet Under was amazing.
6 Feet Under was great. The Wire. Maybe Breaking Bad. I'd have to watch Breaking Bad again. Right now, my favorite show that I'm watching is The 100, which starts out pretty bad, but it gets better as it goes on. I'm not going to say it's like absolutely amazing. There are some kind of little things that made me go, but I'm enjoying it for what it is. When it first came out, I was really into Lost, but then that lost me. I don't know.
We loved Life.
We loved Life, and then it got canceled.
It didn't last. And we liked Dirty Sexy Money, but that didn't last either.
That didn't last either, yeah.
And we liked How I Met Your Mother until it got to the end, and then kind of screwed up.
Really liked Dexter until the final couple seasons. Really liked Chuck until the final couple seasons. Felt that kind of went off the rails. A lot of shows are like that.
We're really liking The Good Place.
The Good Place is amazing, and I'm really happy that it's ending in the next season because it's going to have a proper ending and it's not going to just go on forever. Yeah, The Good Place is really good.
We've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think that's really funny.
That's alright, yeah. How I Met Your Mother, I would agree with you. That's probably my favorite sitcom, I think. It was so,
when it was good, it was so
smart.
good.
Yeah, it was so smartly written, and it was just so funny. And then it was okay at the end, but it was just I don't know. Like even some of the older Dexter, the later Dexter seasons had better moments than the last season of How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother kind of jumped the shark at the end, I think. I'm trying to think of what else I really enjoy. Firefly, but I have a feeling, and I don't know why I feel this way, I have a feeling if I watched Firefly again, I wouldn't like it nearly as much as I did before. I have a feeling that there's just, I'm going to find it obnoxious for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. There's probably a couple shows that I'm completely forgetting about right now. Someone asked if I watched American Gods. I watched the first season, and I loved it so much that I got the book and I read the book because I hadn't read the book yet. Until that time, the only Neil Gaiman thing I'd read had been Good Omens that he did with Terry Pratchett, and I read the book, and I was really disappointed. Sorry to say, like it wasn't bad, but I was like, oh wow, the show's better. Like holy crap! But yeah, I really like the show. I really like the style of the show. it really benefits from, or re-roll this or take it. It really benefits from the style of presentation that the guy who made Hannibal had, that he came over, and then he's gone now, right? So I'm not sure if take it or re-roll. So I'm not sure if the second season is as good. Take it or roll. Keep in mind we only have 4 coins. Roll and roll and roll and roll and keep roll. Mr. Robot, take. Okay, take it. All right. So Mr. I really wanna. Oh wow, cool. I really want to see Mr. Robot and see if I like it. For another more recent show, I was really enjoying Santa Clarita Diet, and then it got canceled. So. And we were quite enjoying the Netflix Marvel shows, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And then they all got sweeped as well, sweeped clean. I really want to watch. I really want to watch The Boys. The Boys looks good, and there's probably some other things I'm forgetting. Sorry, like I don't have a good memory for this sort of thing.
We were watching that other one too. We were watching. Oh,
Mindhunter?
Shit. No, not that one. That one was disturbing. That one was kind of like that one could get good. If a show disturbs me and like I can't stop thinking about it for weeks afterward, even in a creepy way, like that's usually a good sign. And that had a strong opening, you know. So.
Oh, The Killing! You really like The Killing?
Really like? Oh, I forgot. Yeah. I love The Killing, and I've seen it so many times.
But the last season wasn't all that great, right?
No, it's the first 2. That storyline there with Rosie Larson, I love that.
The Killing was pretty good. A bit slow though in season 1. We watched that together a long time ago now. Yeah, and it was that was decent.
No, the one with Portia de Rossi.
Oh, Arrested Development?
I want to see more of that. We didn't finish it.
Yeah, Arrested Development's fantastic.
And the one with Carrie Russell. What was that one? With the Americans.
Oh, The Americans. Yeah,
that one was good too.
We only watched 1 episode or 2 episodes of that. Yeah, I really want to watch The Americans. I hear that's great. More of that. I want to see more of Justified and Hell on Wheels. These are a bunch of shows that we started. But yeah, I'd really like. I haven't seen the new seasons of Arrested Development. But yeah, Arrested Development, the first few seasons before they got the Netflix remake, was probably my favorite comedy. I think maybe. Does that count as a sitcom? Because if that counts as a sitcom, then yeah, that's better than How I Met Your Mother. Oh man, Arrested Development is so clever. Okay, we spent way too much time on this question. All right, any more from chat real quick, and then I'll say thank you to any subs that came in, and then we'll go back to Patreon.
Who's your overall favorite Danganronpa character, and why is it Himiko?
Ooh. I mean, probably Nagito, right? It's probably Nagito, but you know what? I hate to say this because people are just gonna think I'm saying it just to start up shit. But I really liked Katie. You know, I thought yeah, Katie was fun. I was yeah. I'm not gonna say any more, but yeah, Katie. Yeah, probably Katie. Nagito and from 2. Like Chiaki. Yeah. Pikachu. Chad Ketchy. Oh man, those were some good streams, huh? Chad Ketchy. Fuckboy RD.
Have you seen any UK or Ireland comedies like Father Ted, Black Boots, It Crowd, or is it IT Crowd? IT Crowd, etc. I haven't.
No, I know of Father Ted, but I didn't really watch it. There's probably some that I can't really remember. Like growing up with like my family really liked Only Fools and Horses, and some other ones like there was like French and Saunders that my mom liked, and I can't think of the other ones. Sorry, like those comedies. But yeah, I saw some Father Ted, but I didn't really take to it all that well.
I think I watch more than you do because I was into the real estate.
Yeah.
The British real estate shows that you can't get in Canada.
Location.
And relocation. Phil and Kirsty. So yeah, they were really, really, really good.
Do I like Danganronpa though? Yeah, I really like Danganronpa. Yeah, I had a really good time with that. Piracy, even with piracy, you can't get them. No one's torrenting the fucking real estate shows.
And they're old now too. We're talking like 10 years ago. I was really into them, and we've been trying that long to find them, and I can't find them. They have clips on YouTube. You can watch parts of them, but it's not the same.
Only Fools and Horses is my favorite TV show of all time. Always will. Is it really, Chris? Damn. And good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I don't remember it enough. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I know the ending to that, and I don't know why, I was just thinking about this the other night, actually, like how weird it was that they brought it back after that ending for like the Christmas special or whatever, and I was surprised. Yeah, but yeah, Only Fools and Horses has some really great moments that I think were completely lost on me when I was a kid. I'd like to watch them again. What music do I like? Anything that's catchy. I'm a big music slut, like seriously. Like I have no real like proper standard when it comes to music or anything like that.
Still make new shows.
Oh, whoops! We just ran and got this. Oh, lucky! Nice. All right. He wants hearts.
Yeah, you're a big music.
And we have lots of hearts. Let's just go. Yeah, if it's catchy and it has a good beat and I can sing along to it, like I'm pretty good. But like, really? All right. Thank you for the mom's coin purse. Oh, and we're gone. Oh, no. Oh, well, we're screwed.
Mostly you get stuck listening to whatever I'm listening to, though, so. Most of the time.
Most of the time,
I
yeah.
usually have something on because I beat you to it, so.
My favorite band of all time is probably Tool, to be honest. As much as it loathes me to say that because their fan base is just obnoxious. They're all Tools, but yeah, it's probably Tool. That's the band I've enjoyed the most over the years.
Perfect Circle is better.
Perfect Circle is better to some people, yeah. I really like Porcupine Tree. For a more recent band, I really like 21 Pilots, but now they're getting the Tool fan base phenomenon, so it's kind of putting me off a little bit. So yeah.
Linkin Park is good.
Linkin Park was like the first band I was really into when not even when I was a kid, just ever. That was the first band I was really into. So yeah.
Foo Fighters are good.
Was never really that much into the Foo Fighters. Like they got some great songs, but yeah, was never really that into it.
Them, but they're good. Florence and the Machine, we agree on.
Yeah, I really like Florence and the Machine.
The new one we found is Banks. We've been listening
to
we
both like Banks. Yeah.
She just put out a new album, so it's a good time to check her out if you don't know her.
Do you think you would enjoy Danganronpa as much if you didn't stream it? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I would have. But however, I still think I would have enjoyed it, and that's the distinction between like Danganronpa and Goose Game. If I played Goose Game by myself without streaming it, I don't think I would have enjoyed it much at all. But Danganronpa, I still would have enjoyed it for sure. Just because the concept is just, I just love the concept so much. It just really jives with me. I don't know.
We don't really watch horror movies, do we?
No, we don't watch many.
I know I don't.
We don't
say
watch
that like just
many horror movies.
What kind of horror movies do you like, if any's been asked a couple times? I think Hill House is probably the most horror we've gotten in a long time. I used to watch them when I was a teenager, but like a lot of them were the, you know, Freddy Krueger stuff that my dad would watch that I would just kind of hang around for.
Because of my sleep disorder, horror movies for me for a long time were literally nightmare fuel, like literally. So like I avoided a lot of horror movies, and also when I was younger, my dad exposed me to some horror movies way earlier than he should have. And that was not his fault. Like well, maybe a little bit his fault. Like I want to say, like I was like, I really want to watch it, and he probably just got tired of saying no to me, and then he's like, okay, we got Leo. This is Leo.
Aw. Hi, Leo.
Okay.
He's a lion. He looks kind of lion-like.
Goddamn, Joe, well played. What for? Is that in response to a joke or? Oh shit! Oh, that just did damage. Leo the lion, yeah. So like I was quite afraid of horror movies for a long time until I got a little older. Like to tell you something that's just a little embarrassing. Like for a long time I thought I was haunted. Like I really did think, like just legit straight up thought I was haunted because of the sleep disorder. Because I would see ghosts. Often, so I just straight up thought I was haunted. So anything to do with ghosts would be very unsettling for me. So I wouldn't want to just, you know, make that even worse. But I've seen some horror movies as I've gotten older. I've been like, yeah, it's fine. If they count as horror movies, but this is kind of cheating because I don't like it because it's a horror movie. I know this is like a really like fucking normie opinion, but my favorite horror movie is probably Saw. Like, I really like Saw. I like how that movie is set up. I like the concept of it. Again, if you like, because Danganronpa, what we said earlier, I think people are probably gonna understand that. Yeah, I really like Saw. Saw 2, and I think I didn't watch any more after Saw 2. Maybe Saw 3, I can't really remember, but I really like Saw. Yeah, someone in chat just said it explains why I like Danganronpa. Yeah.
I'd like to watch The Shining again. Because that scared the shit out of me when I was a teenager.
The Shining.
I've never seen the whole thing.
I've never seen The Shining.
I've only seen parts of it, and I never saw all of the end. I saw like the middle, and then I missed part, and then the end. So yeah, I would like to see the rest of that. See if I'm still scared. Anyway, you wanna take some
Yep, let's
Patreon questions?
let's say thank you to some people. I think the last person to come in was Bendro the Butts with a gifted sub, right? So thank you, Fresh Asparagus, for the 2-month resub. This was an hour ago. Oh god, how long were we talking in response? Holy shit. Alright, let's do a bunch of Patreon questions then. Yeah, let's do it. Thank you, Fresh Asparagus, for the 2-month resub. Not So Fresh saying thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Ozar99, for the 19-month resub with a heart. Right back at you, Ozar99. 19 months in Pal Patrol. Thank you very much. 100 bits from Lobster Person Live. Now subbed thanks to CK Tofu. Thank you very much, Lobster Person Live. Thank you, CB Turk, for the 20-month resub. It's 2 10s. Basic math, quick math.
It is the 10th month.
Ah.
Yesterday was the 10th day.
Connections. Thank you very much, CB Turk. CB Turk, thank you. Thank you, Scumbag Soul, for the 13-month resub. Unlucky for some, been busy with work. Now I am teaching 7 classes, but
Wow.
I made it for this. Wow.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Good luck with teaching 7 classes. God damn, Scumbag Soul. Damn. And you're teaching people, but you're here listening to me and Lily's bullshit. Thank you, Scumbag Soul. Thank you very much. Thank you to Alcox for 100 bits. Mom build is essential to support new players, and there have been buffs to their. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Mom build is essential to support new players, and there has been buffs for their HP recovery and defense. With the new Doctor Job class, the Mom build might seem risky, but it's a unique spot in the meta. Okay, for a little bit there, I thought you were talking about Isaac. I was like, wait, what? Is this like Isaac quick tips? Because of the mom in here. All right. Thank you, Ralph Bugs. Thank you, Wuggy, for the 20-month resub. 20 months, damn. Thank you, Wuggy. Is Wuggy still here, or did Wuggy?
No, I think he was here a few minutes ago.
I think Wuggy's on a difficult schedule right now. Thank you, Wuggy, because that was 20 minutes ago. Damn. Thank you, Wuggy. He's here. How's it going, Wuggy? Oh no, we're gonna die from these guys.
Must be really late though, right? Isn't it like 4 or 5 a.m. or something?
Or really early.
Really early, yeah. I just woke up. Okay.
Oh no, we're gonna die from these things because I don't understand how they work. I also can't see the shadow because of Leo's glorious mane.
And he does have a glorious mane, doesn't he?
He does.
He has curls if we don't cut his hair.
It's kind of. I didn't make that connection before. He does. All right, if I do that, will that bomb on the other side? It does. Nice.
You guys are up so early.
Nice. Thank you to Barrett ZM for the new sub with Prime. Welcome to Prime Time. Welcome to the pickle jar, or Pout Patrol, whichever you prefer. Barrett ZM. Thank you very much. Soy milk is so bad. I don't think I've ever had soy milk.
No.
So let's go over to the next one on Patreon, if you don't mind, Lily. And we'll answer I think 3 Patreon questions in a row. So if you're sticking around just so you can ask,
small.
if you're sticking around just to ask a question in chat, you might want to go AFK a little bit if that's the only reason that you're here. And if that is like no judgment, respect, it's fine.
It's Jaime.
How's it going, Jaime?
Hi, Joe. Hoping everything is going great for you and your family. Here are my questions. What would it take for you to quit gaming forever, apart from a physical impediment?
Oh, is that it?
That's the first question.
Oh, wow. Okay. It would take. I mean, there are lots and lots and lots of things that we could do if we're going into theory. Like if you know there was some like mastermind kind of bullshit, you know, like if you don't stop gaming, I'm gonna kill your kids or whatever. Not Lily though. I would still keep on gaming for that. You know, like.
Love you too.
Love you too. Yeah. Friends till the end. Or like the world is gonna end unless you stop gaming. You know. So there are definitely things that could do that. But anything like more. Like down to earth, something that's more possible. I don't know. I guess if I realized that I was addicted to it and I had some sort of I was having a problem that was making it so I couldn't function anymore. Yeah, that for sure would be enough for me to stop. Oh, we just did that for no reason because we're Leo. Shit. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough to think about. Yeah, definitely if it was like, yeah, I'm addicted, it's causing me too many problems, because anything can be like drinking, right? Someone said that to me once and I've never forgotten it. Like anything can be like drinking. You know, everyone looks at drinking as the big destructive addiction, but like anything, playing poker, playing video games, you know, going jogging, even something that's healthy for you overall can become this addiction that you really need to work past, and you need to realize that it's bad for you. I think it's one of the sayings that the Buddha has, is that the path to true enlightenment or true success is realizing what's holding you back. It's not so much making the changes, it's actually being able to realize what it is that is causing all the problems. So yeah, that would do it for sure. I don't think there's any amount of realistic money that could be offered to me to stop. Like, if it was like so much more money in the world that I could solve a lot of problems that I think are active in the world, then maybe, you know what I mean? But like, I don't think there's any amount of money that would be like, yeah, I'm done gaming now. Yeah. Can you add anything to that, Lee? Because like, I'm drawing a blank on.
The only thing I thought of was, if it wasn't your job anymore and it was just a hobby.
Yeah.
If I died and you had all the kids to look after all by yourself and you
Yeah.
had no free time, then you wouldn't really have, for a long time anyway, you wouldn't have time for a hobby, right? Between work and looking after them and like running the house and going grocery shopping, and like if you were a single parent,
Well,
single parents must not have a lot of free time to play video games and stuff. Some might still find time, but overall, like the amount of time like that most people here, I would think, you know, it's a real hobby, right? Play. Mm-hmm. And watch other people play.
I still think I would play games because I think that because it's I would still need to make money somehow, right? So I think I would.
I'm saying if it was not a job, if
Okay.
it was just a hobby,
I
like
would,
if you had other work that you
sure.
could do.
Yeah. I was saying like I could hire someone to look after the kids at least a few hours a day, so I would be able to, yeah.
But yeah, if it was just like a hobby, right? Like there might not be time, you know, until they're older, right? So that might not be forever, and that's not what they're asking. They're saying, I guess, forever. But that's the first thing I thought of was, you know, if it wasn't work and you were a single parent, how would that work? Yeah, I'm always a real sunbeam.
Lily, it's always real talk with Lily, okay? Like that's what I love about Lily. Yeah. That should be your channel name. Real talk with Lily.
Real talk with Lily. It's like called Lily Talks.
Lily talks.
Lily streams. Lily tweets.
And on Pornhub, your Lily screams.
Of course.
So it's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah, I don't think I can say anything else other than that. Sorry. I guess in theory, gaming's reputation could get so low that, you know, like I don't even then, like, fuck it, I would be like, screw it. This is like, fuck you if people think that it's really, really bad and, you know, only degenerates play games. I still enjoy them. That's not going to sway me. So even then, I don't think so. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Sorry, I don't have a really interesting answer for you, Jaime. I'm sorry. Oh, this is still going.
Rabbit of Doom is here.
How's it going, Rabbit of Doom?
I love Rabbit of Doom. Not as much as Pig on the Moon.
Pig on the Moon's...
But they're pretty
yeah.
close, right? Rabbit of Doom,
Pig on the Moon
Pig
is
on
God's
the
tier
Moon.
for you because you like pigs, yeah. Pig on the Moon.
Pig on the Moon. Rabbit of Doom.
Remember that song I played you
And
once?
it's Doom.
Ghost in the Moon?
Yeah.
Pig on the moon. Yeah, I really like that song. I haven't listened to that in months. I should listen to that again.
Fluxen says in relation to that, will you stop, trick question, will you stop gaming if somebody offers you to get a Lily clone? Or will you stop gaming to not be given a Lily clone?
I get 2 lilies? Huh. No, I like the lily I have.
He has to say that.
I like the lily I have. I'm going to epic matrix dodge that one. All right, should I take the cat head, the bomb head, or the funny lips? Chat, tell me which one. Two B
Double the
cosplays,
kids.
double the kids. Lily harem.
Okay, so the other question is, have you watched this? And I don't know what this is. Did you watch it?
I think this is. Let me look it up. I think this is. I will link this in chat if it's what I think it is.
I think you did, because I remember you saying something, but I don't remember what it is.
Okay, let me mute the desktop audio real quick. I think this is someone made Danganronpa in The Sims. Yeah, this is it. Danganronpa, basically. Okay. All right, so instead of linking it, just in case there's something really bad that's said in here that I forgot, yeah, if you want to view this, just Google Danganronpa, basically, and it's on YouTube, and it has 376,000 views. Yeah, I watched this. There's one for the second one, too. I thought it was pretty funny. He says at one point, he goes up to characters and keeps saying, character name, are you dead? And that's what I say to the cat sometimes. When the cat is like laying really still, I go over and say, Evie, are you dead? And then she looks up and meow, and I'm like, okay, good, you're not dead. Yeah, this is pretty funny. I liked it. Someone else also linked me something from Persona 5, which was is Yusuke gay or European? And that was really funny. I really liked that a lot. I think chat said the cat head, right? Bob's head. I don't know what any of that means. We're just going to keep this one because we're never going to use it anyway. It doesn't really matter. Trick question. You fell for it, chat. You fell for it. Have you seen Pro ZD's Danganronpa video? I have not seen that, I don't think.
So that is all.
Sorry I cannot give you that many in-depth response, Jaime, but maybe that was the plan. Because I know some people don't like it that I waffle on for so long, and they prefer short answers. So maybe that was the plan. Thank you, Jaime.
The next one is Sage. Hey Joe, really enjoy your videos. My question is about how you deal with your sleep illness. I have idiopathic hypersomnia and was diagnosed pretty recently. I know that narcolepsy is not the same thing, but I'd still like to hear about your experience.
Sure. First of all, I said this earlier in the Q&A in response to... It's a question about sleep apnea, right? Mm-hmm. In response to Ben E, yeah, or K, yeah. So if you want to hear more in depth about that, you might want to go back in the video if you're watching this on YouTube or on Twitch. I don't want to repeat too much of what I said back then, but that was more about how you deal with, like Ben's question was more about how you deal with being tired, and your question is more about the sleep illness in general. First of all, I think I know what this is, but let me just look it up real quick. Idiopathic hypersomnia. I just want to make sure that I know what that is. Idiopathic hypersomnia is a sleep disorder in which a person is excessively sleepy during the day and has great difficulty being awakened from sleep. Idiopathic means there is not a clear cause. Okay, so this is very similar to what I have. I have periods of excessive sleepiness during the day, and Lily can attest to this. It is very difficult to wake me up. Yeah. However, it's really, really easy to wake me up from a nap. It's really easy to wake me up when I have just fallen asleep. But if I've been asleep for like hours, usually like close to the time when it's time to get up, which is just the worst time for it to be difficult to wake up, it is very difficult for me to wake up. So basically my experience with sleep is that I don't sleep very well for the first like maybe 2/3 of it. Like if I have a sleep period that is say 9 hours, for the first 6 hours, first of all, it might take me a long time to even fall asleep, and then I will have very restless sleep. I will wake up often in the first 6 hours. I will constantly be all right, which one, chat? Rosary bead or watch battery? I think rosary bead. I will constantly be waking up, and it's like a defense thing that I've set up, or it used to work at least. Oh shit, that is for avoiding having nightmares and everything. So I I would wake up often, and I still kind of do. It just doesn't really help all that much. And when I do get back into the the deep sleep period, I have a lot more nightmares now. It used to be like I would be able to avoid them somehow from this weird janky system that I just accidentally set up for myself while I was sleeping. I should probably talk about narcolepsy just in case anyone here wasn't here for the last answer, but I'm a bit hesitant to repeat so much of what we already said before in this first Q&A. So. I guess through the context it'll be fine. It's really frustrating, and I don't know if irony is the right word for it. You know, like you're tired all day and you're so sleepy, and there's these times where you can barely keep your eyes open, and then when it's finally time to go to bed and you can finally sleep and you just can't sleep anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's really frustrating, and I think even people that don't have a sleep disorder have this issue. You know, it's a fairly common complaint. You know, you're awake and you're wired all day. You're dead on your feet all day, especially if you have like a typical 9-to-5 job. And then when you finally get home after you have your dinner and your relaxing time, and you're still kind of tired, but you need to get through your evening routine, you're still really you're still really tired, and then it's finally time to go to sleep, and you're just like staring at the ceiling going, what the fuck, brain, what the fuck? And it's like that on steroids for me, where I think even when you have that kind of feeling, most normal sleepers, when they have that experience during the week or something, it might take them an hour to fall asleep at the worst. That's when they might go on Facebook and be like, it took me an hour to fall asleep last night, like lol, so insomniac. Whereas like an hour is just me every single night. It usually takes me about at least an hour to fall asleep. I would consider that a good night, unless I'm looping around and I am like I go to sleep during a time when I'm in one of those excessive sleep moments because I'm trying to reset my schedule. Tragically though, when I'm in that kind of moment, when I go to sleep, if I ever have like a sleep attack from narcolepsy, I will go to sleep, and then I usually wake up a couple hours later and I'm refreshed, I'm fine, I'm gonna wake up now, and it just ends up like fucking my schedule over. Like I've been awake for like 24, 26, sometimes 28 hours straight. I've done much longer than that, but that's the typical time I'm awake for a reset cycle. And I've been awake for this long, barely got any sleep the previous nights, and then I finally get to go to sleep at like 9 p.m. I finally stayed awake and looped around to 9 p.m. and I go to sleep, and then I wake up at 2 a.m. and I'm like, oh, I'm wide awake. All right, time to go have a poop and then fucking clean the kitchen and do a lot of shit at work and all this other shit. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of bullshit. Like, and then I loop back around to like noon the next day, and I'm just tired again, and I'm back on the shitty schedule. So it's really frustrating, and it tends to be happening more as I get older, I'm noticing. It used to be when I would loop to reset that I would have an easier time actually staying asleep until the time I actually wanted to wake up. Conversely though, I'm finding it easier to stay on when I finally do get on the schedule. Like my favorite time to wake up is between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. That's my favorite. If I can get on a schedule where I'm waking up between 5 and 7, I love it. And I'm finding as I get older, once I get onto that schedule, I can keep it for much longer than I used to be able to. I still drift, and I'm going to guess that maybe, I don't know, what would you say, Lily? I can keep on it for sometimes like 5 to 6 weeks now, right? And it used to...
Yeah. Before you couldn't.
Yeah, and it's like, and then I go through this period. I'm in one of those bad periods right now. Actually, I'm in one of those bad periods where now I have to loop back around again, and that can be really frustrating. But then once I finally do it, I can stick on it for a while. But sometimes it could take me up to 2 weeks to loop back around because I get so tired.
Either, right? Like
yeah.
You might stay on it for 6 weeks, and then you might get off of it, and then it takes you a bit to get back on it, and then you're only on it for 2 weeks, and then you're back off it again. I guess it's always, there's no pattern to any of it.
Yeah. But in general, I feel like I can stay on it a little longer now when as I'm getting older. I don't know why. Excessive sleep is, I don't get the stereotypical problem with narcolepsy, which is like, because that doesn't really exist, is when you just fall over like dead asleep. Like that doesn't happen to me, and it doesn't really happen to most narcoleptics. It's that typically when you're seeing there is not a sleep attack. It's a cataplexy attack, and cataplexy is just paralysis. And I don't really experience much cataplexy, but it does happen sometimes, and it's a little scary. I was really worried about when we had kids. I was really worried about holding the babies when They were born because of the cataplexy, but it's never been an issue. And there's been like one time like period that when I've been on stairs and my knees have buckled a little bit because of a just out of nowhere cataplexy attack, but I was still able to hold myself and it was fine. It only lasted about a second. But usually it happens when it's a period of a moment of intense emotion. Usually it's laughter. If you find something really, really funny and you're laughing really, really hard, you might lose your sense of balance a little bit. You might lose your control over the muscles in your legs, that sort of thing. But it doesn't really happen to me much. I can't really remember the last time it's happened intensely. So I'm quite lucky. I have, in terms of narcolepsy, I have very bad nightmares and very, very poor sleep. But in terms of the other things like sleep paralysis and cataplexy, and even daytime sleepiness, I would say I'm quite lucky. I don't have it that bad. Sleep paralysis is something that I haven't experienced properly in quite a while. I think I've found a way to just kind of like fight against it and not have to deal with it that much. I also recognize when it happens more than any other time, and that is when I have naps in an area that I am unfamiliar with sleeping in. Like, so if I have a nap even on the couch, you know, like if I fall asleep on the couch, I'm probably gonna have a sleep paralysis as I'm falling asleep. So I've just learned not to do it, you know, just I have to be in bed falling asleep to avoid the sleep paralysis. And I hate it. I hate sleep paralysis so much. It sounds exactly what it is, you know, like you wake up and you can't move, and you're completely awake, you're completely lucid, you're completely conscious, but you can't open your eyes, you can't move your arms, you can't move your legs, and yeah, it's really, really bad. It's scary as shit, man. Is this gonna hurt me? Okay, do we want the left hand or do we want the rosary bead thing? Sleep paralysis is often, when I had it, it was also accompanied by hypnagogic hallucination, which is just a really fun thing to say. Makes it even worse. So there've been times when I was younger that I woke up and and my room was just on fire, that sort of thing. Or there's been like some crazy like beast monster in the room with me, you know. Or there's been like one time it was just literally death, and death was like pounding across the room, like really, really heavy footsteps, just like boom, boom, like the room is shaking as like death is like circling the bed like a big wolf. And he kept saying to me like, "Why are you still here? Why are you still here?" And it might even sound funny like out of context, but it's like at the time, like I don't, like it was a hallucination, and I couldn't move, and I'm just like, oh my god. And I woke up and my heart was pounding like crazy, and I was finally able to move, and I was like, holy shit. So yeah, there's like those kind of experiences. At the flip side though, like I sometimes really enjoy the dreams that I have. And I feel like, oh, we're dead. I feel like I get a lot out of my dreams, and I get to experience things that I otherwise wouldn't, even though they're fake. I don't know, it gives me ideas and inspiration. I don't even think I have a specific example I can draw from, but I kind of feel like I get bonus thinking time because I continue thinking while I'm asleep, if that makes sense. So I appreciate it, and I think it's not the worst disorder to have, you know, if for being at least a little bit creative with the book writing and even the videos, but it's so exhausting. Yeah, it's so exhausting. And I think that's all I can say, because I already spoke about this in the earlier Q&A, and I don't want to harp on it too much about it. I try not to talk about the narcolepsy that much. I don't think I've ever mentioned it more than a few times in passing on the mainstreams, because just something in my head that I never wanted to come across like I'm whining about what I have. And it was actually one of my rules when I started the channel, because you know, at some point when you're making content on YouTube, you know, like because YouTube is not very stable unless you just hit it really, really big. At some point, you're gonna have to ask for something like donations. You know, like I'm not sure if Patreon like is said it's like labeled as a pledge, but is that like a donation kind of thing? I don't know, probably, but yeah. And I really did not want to be like, hey, I'm making these videos, and oh, by the way, I'm disabled. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to have that. I didn't want people to feel any pressure or any sort of thing. You know, when we were first starting out, like, hey, you should support me because I'm making these videos, but also because I have this really, really bad sleep disorder. You know what I mean? So yeah, I try not to speak about it too much, and it's something that I sometimes get enjoyment out of too, like with the nightmares and the dreams. But yeah, that's all I can say. Did Sage have another question?
No.
No? It says you were diagnosed pretty recently. Yeah, sleep disorders usually aren't diagnosed until much later in life. I was in my early 20s before I was diagnosed, and the sleep doctor said to me, you know, we're going to do all these tests for you and everything, and you might be narcoleptic, and you should really hope that you're not. And I'm like, okay. And in my head, I was like, well, I'm that. Because he said that I'm that. And then the test results come back, and he says to me, yep, you're narcoleptic, so good luck with that. And he gave me these pills, this medication to deal with the daytime sleepiness that didn't really work, and didn't give me any other information whatsoever. No other information. It sent me for a brain scan just in case. Go get an MRI just to be safe, just to make sure there's nothing wrong. No, that was a CAT scan. I got a CAT scan. I had an MRI later in life for a different reason, and there's no problems. There was nothing, and yeah, and that was it. No other information. Just all right, cool, thanks, doc. Yeah. Someone in chat was saying something about how they're worried about going into surgery and being completely aware of it, kind of like sleep paralysis and that. I've heard of that, and I've heard it's mostly a myth, but I'm also scared of that too. I had a procedure done where I had to be knocked out once, and I remember they put a tube down my throat, and they were checking my stomach, and I remember they put like an intravenous catheter into my wrist, and then they like the nurse was talking to me about some stuff, and then we were having a conversation, and then the doctor came in, and she injected the knockout whatever drugs into me, and I was knocked out, and then they explained what they were going to do first, and the doctor was very nice, and the doctor's like, okay, we're going to put this tube down your throat afterwards, and it's like, okay, and then the drugs went in, and I remember kind of just talking to him, and then blacked out, and then I woke up trying to pull the tube out of my throat as he was putting it down, and the nurse and the doctor like in full panic mode going, you have to stop, and I'm like on this thing, and then I black out again, and then I'm being rolled out of a room, and I wake up, and then I'm like, I see the checkout people, like the post procedure people, and I'm like, okay, and I go back to the doctor, and I'm like, okay, so how did that go? And he's like, you're awake already? How are you awake already? And I was like, I don't know. So that's made me a little bit more worried about having any big procedure done, but I don't think it's a real thing. Like I don't have any memory apart from that one time. Maybe they just needed some slightly stronger drugs.
You have an anesthesiologist, they're monitoring you the whole time. Like,
yeah.
That's their whole job, is just to watch you. So
these doctors sound like NPCs. Oh, it wasn't done in Moncton. Did these hearts count as picking up the hearts to unlock that guy in the first 2 floors?
I think I got to 7, counting down from 10, and I was out.
So you're finally awake already?
I said it's not gonna work, and they said count down from 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, and that was it.
Perhaps that is related to your narcolepsy and sleep problems? Probably, yeah. Yeah, I think most people say it's not going to work, right? There's no way it's going to work, and then they don't even...
Just because they're like, just count from 10, and you're thinking, that's not enough time. Worked really well for me. I had a lot of trouble waking up after that.
Anyway, enough of my misadventures and bullshit. Let's go to the next Patreon question.
Sam H. Howdy, Joe. Hope you're well.
Howdy, Sam.
Have you seen any of the coverage for Obsidian's new game, The Outer Worlds? While the gameplay looks a little clunky, the story and role-playing have me very pumped. As someone who has had experience with Fallout, the Elder Scrolls RPGs, it would be interesting to get your thoughts.
So, for context, this question came in back in March, so there's been more information that has come out since this question was asked. However, that's not really all that relevant for my answer because I've been avoiding trailers since the first reveal at E3 that we actually watched like live on stream together, like a family. So I think it looks a little cringy, to be honest. I think that the tone of it seemed very, like, maybe even intentionally cringy, where the woman that was like talking to you about how, like, hey, there's a stranger that's coming to town, and, you know, like, are they gonna be good? Are they gonna be bad? Or are they gonna be crazy? You just keep being you. You know what I mean? And I think that was intentionally kind of cringy. But I was like, oh god, where are they going with this? I'm excited because I like their games like they do that, and it seems like this one's gonna have like enough budget to actually be finished. Because the biggest problem with Obsidian games are that they bite off way more than they can chew, or they bite off way more than they can afford. And then you get these issues where it's a really, really great, unpolished, buggy mess of a game. And I think New Vegas was probably the best one that they've done for that. I didn't play Alpha Protocol because I was really, really, really pissed off by something that happened in the first area, and I couldn't get past it. I was like, if this is the attention to detail that they have, then I'm really, really annoyed. Maybe I'll talk about that one day. What fucked me up? If you're gonna play Alpha Protocol, you would have played it by now, right? So I guess I can say it. There's the introduction tutorial. Turns out that it's a test, and these bad guys that you're fighting aren't really bad guys, and it was just to see if you could get through their initiation process, and then you start working with them at the end, like right early into the game. However, they're using live fire ammunition, and it's like I got so fucked off. Like, this isn't an exercise, man. Like, you were actually killing us, and if you fail, you actually die. So I don't know if that's explained later on, and it's okay, but like that pissed me off so much that I just said fuck it, and I didn't continue with it for after that. I'm hoping that I misunderstood something about it because I would like to enjoy that game. But
I'm gonna check on them because they've been quiet for a long time.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna shut up while she opens the door. Okay, I think we're safe. Are there any weebs in the chat tonight? Let's out the weebs. Weebs can't hear whispering. It's their one weakness. It's their weebness. Anyway, I really enjoyed New Vegas. New Vegas is probably one of my favorite games ever, period. Like, New Vegas is just absolutely fantastic. It's such a good game that I don't even consider it fair to compare Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 to it, because they have such different such different goals, and the results, I think, really speak for themselves. It's like, yeah, they're almost completely different genres to me. But yeah, I'm a little concerned. Like, so I was a really big Obsidian fan, mostly because of Chris Avellone, and who I think is video games just best writer, period. I don't know if there would be anyone else that would even compete with him in terms of... Sorry, the door's open again. That could compete with him in terms of like how prolific he's been, while also maintaining a pretty damn good quality. Like, on an individual basis, yeah, there are other stories that are really, really good. But yeah, I'm not sure about like how many he's also done on top of that, right? So yeah, but then he left, and I'm not sure if he's been consulted for the Outer Worlds at all. I'm not sure. But yeah, so that kind of put a little bit of a downer on it. But then also what he said in interviews after he left about how, you know, like they didn't give him like the severance benefits, I think. Oh no, what's this? Oh wow, I really hate this. Well, this runs over. They didn't give him the severance benefits that he was due, or there was some sort of bonus that he was due that they didn't give to him or whatever. So I was a little put off by that, and yeah, so I don't really know how it's gonna go. And also like if he's the real, like, the big driving force between the stories being so good, like, how is it going to be after that? Someone in chat also just said that they're getting tired and a little bit concerned when a game markets itself as having so many so many choices and consequences, and I think I agree with you there. Yeah, it's difficult to do, and often when it's marketed, there isn't that much work that's put into it. They're just kind of surface level choices and consequences, or it'll say that your choices matter, but in the end it doesn't really, because they didn't have the budget or the dev time to really make it matter, like in Mass Effect or Witcher 3. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried, but the scale of the game looks to be quite small from what I've seen, so I'm not sure if you go to different planets or whatever, or if it's just on that same one planet with that same kind of one city that you go to. Like they've said, I think they said in an interview that, don't expect this to be New Vegas 2, which everyone automatically thinks it's going to be. But I also saw the combat, and it looks like they're putting more effort into the combat, which has me a little worried, like if they're trying to put that much time into it. Are the kids okay, by the way? Okay. If they're putting that much time into it, it's like focusing on the part that they never really get right, and that means they're going to have to put a lot of time into it to make it good. So, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong and it'll be fine. Maybe it'll be okay. But Knights of the Old Republic 2 is just probably my favorite Star Wars game. It's definitely my favorite Star Wars RPG, and I think it was much better than the first one, even with its flaws. I got lucky though; I didn't experience that many glitches when I played it. But yeah, that game had some serious problems. My favorite Star Wars action game is probably Jedi Knight 2 or Jedi Academy, one of those two, for sure. But yeah, I'm interested, and I'll definitely play it. I don't think I'm going to stream it. It's likely to get a video, but I don't think I'm going to stream it. That doesn't seem like the kind of game that I think would benefit from a stream all that well, especially with all the choices and everything. But I'll never say never. If it turns out that, oh yeah, it has some great moments, and that guy that's totally not Rick from Rick and Morty is really funny, and it's going to be a great few streams. It's not that long, after all, that sort of thing, then maybe it's okay. I was wrong about this charge thing. This charge thing's pretty good. I just hope that they're not biting off more than they can chew once again. I think Obsidian has this issue where they're like goldfish for budgets, like whatever their budget is, they just automatically go 2-3 times over that, and then they can never make it work. And I gotta say, there is something to be said about, I'd rather a developer try to be ambitious and fail than play it really safe and end up with this polished game that isn't really all that exciting. But I think Obsidian goes too far in the other way for me for that. But yeah, I would be more interested if I knew who was writing it at the moment. I follow someone from Obsidian on Twitter. I think I follow Josh Sawyer. But I really wasn't interested in Pillars or Tyranny, but I'd like to try Tyranny. Pillars I didn't get into at all. Just knowing that I would have to go through so much combat in that game when I wasn't feeling the combat just really soured me on the experience, and I didn't want to do it. Alright, I'm not a fan that my bullets are the same color as the enemy bullets. Yeah, and I think that's all I can say about the Outer Worlds. I hope it's great. Like every game I hope is great. Except for one. I hope that's terrible. Did Sam have another question?
Do you read much nonfiction? If so, could you recommend your top 5 nonfiction books?
I really don't read that much nonfiction. I can talk about Sapiens again, and the sequel to Sapiens, that I can never remember the guy's name. Noah Yuval Harari. I remember his name. Nice. So it's Sapiens, and I think it's
Yuval Noah, isn't it?
Yuval Noah. Yeah, I think it's Homo Deus. I think is the sequel. And there's another one that Lily got it for me for Christmas last year, and I haven't read it yet. And I'd like to read that. Those are the 2 nonfiction books that I really enjoyed recently, and they're 2 of 3 like nonfiction books that are the only ones that I've read probably in the past decade, maybe even longer. I don't really go in for nonfiction, which is probably a flaw of mine. I should probably read more nonfiction. So just to talk about that, I've spoken about it on stream before, so I don't want to go too much into it. So it's just about a brief history of our civilization, from how we evolved into what we are, and how we went through the hunter-gatherer stage and into how we started farming, and how that wasn't actually a really good idea for us, and that our society and our species is more about our species than our society, how our species suffered because of that, and we had a much harder life than we otherwise would have, and maybe it wasn't for the best really that we did that. It's not always like a sure thing that building the society that we did for our species was a good thing. And it was really interesting. It answered a lot of questions that I've always had that I didn't know if there were answers or not. And it turns out that I was just really ignorant. I didn't look it up enough. So that was probably one of the most important books that I've read. It was actually recommended on one of these streams. Actually, someone said, I think in a Patreon Q&A, hey, you should read this book. It was one of their questions, is have you ever read Sapiens? And then I read it, and I really enjoyed it. So whoever suggested that a long time ago, thank you very much. I got not as much out of the sequel, Homo Deus, but it was me, says number 333. But it was still interesting, and it made me understand something I thought I had already understood. So when a book can do that for you, like you think you understand something, and it's like, no, you're actually still ignorant, and you just think you do. And that's one of the most dangerous situations that you can be in when it comes to knowledge. You think you already understand something, but you don't. So it's always good to have those misconceptions cleared up, and I think it can be difficult to do that, like difficult to realize and even accept that, hey, you were wrong about something. It's not like you're learning new knowledge, it's that you thought you understood something already, and it turns out, no, you were still being a big dummy. And what it was specifically from that book was the saying, those who do not study history are doomed to repeat it. I thought I understood what that meant. I thought that meant that if you don't study history, that you are doomed to make the same mistakes as history. So it's like, if we don't learn from World War II, then at some point there might be another Hitler, that sort of thing. And that's not what that saying means, or at least that's not only what that saying can mean. And instead it's about, in the book, they use a example of lawns, a brief history of lawns. That's what it was, like a play on their own book from the first one, and it explains like why people have lawns and like why we're just like perpetuating that kind of thing. But the other example I would use is a story that I read a while ago, which is about a family of like generations of women that they're making, because Thanksgiving's coming up, when they roast a turkey, and the youngest of these generation of 4 women are, they're preparing Thanksgiving. She's like 20 or 25 or whatever, and she's preparing turkey for Thanksgiving, and she's explaining to her daughter, hey, when you put it in the roasting pan, you cut off the wings and you cook them separately, because that makes it more flavorful. And then the daughter says, why does that make it more flavorful? And then the mother's like, I don't know actually. And she goes and talks to her mother, and her mother's like, I don't know actually. And then she goes and talks to her mother, and her mother says, I don't know. And then they go to the great grandmother who's there and says, because when we were poor, we didn't have a roasting pan that could fit the wings in it, so we had to cut the turkey with the wings off the turkey. So there's this thing, this what's the right word? Progression or tradition. There's this tradition that's been handed down, and you don't know why you're doing it, but you've always done it, and that's more what the saying means. And I found that to be quite like, oh shit, like that's way more interesting and way more useful and way more like insidious almost if you don't understand that. So perpetuation. So I got quite a bit out of that, and that's the books I'm talking about are Sapiens and Homo Deus. Let me see if I got the right name. By Yuval Noah Harari. And there's another one that I haven't read yet. I wouldn't say that they're flawless, like they're not bulletproof. There's probably, if you it goes through too many topics to be flawless. Kind of like if you ever go to a restaurant and they have like 100 things that you can order that that there's no way that they're all going to be good. It's kind of like when I view like like books of information, that sort of thing, or even source of information. No one can know so much about everything. So I'm sure it's some parts of it are quite shallow takes, but that's what the book says. Like, you go in knowing that it's a brief history. It's not supposed to be about anything too much in specific. The other nonfiction book that I got quite a bit out of, but I'd like to read it again because it's really important to what I do, is Game Feel by Steve Zvink. So that finally came back in print, and I got it a while ago, and it's a little hard to follow without much animation knowledge, but maybe I'm just being dumb. But it also has some gaming examples. Like, you can actually go to games and follow along that I couldn't get working, so I don't know if they're fixed, or when I tried I couldn't get them working. So that's probably one of the best, maybe if it's even the only good game design book that there is. So I'd recommend that quite a bit, and it talks about the importance of game feel, which is surprising that that's like maybe the first really important textbook for games, considering that game feel is such an intangible sort of topic, and a lot of people don't really understand it, even though they can feel it. You know, no pun intended. You know, like it's arguably the most important part of any game, I think, and a good game feel can elevate a bad game to playable status, and bad game feel can drop a bad game down to, like, you know, I can really understand why people like it, and I can understand the appeal of this, but holy shit, I just cannot stand playing this game. So it's like just the most important thing to nail in your game, I think. But, you know, that's kind of reductive to say that it is the most important thing, when if your game is really good, really into story, then, you know, story should be the most important thing too. Like, you could say that for anything, you can make a good argument, but that's why.
What book was it again? You talked about now?
Game Feel by Steve Zvink. It's behind us actually, somewhere in this pile of stuff. Why can't I kill you? Do I need to bomb you? Oh, there was another enemy. Okay. My bad. Yeah, and I think that's it. I can't give you a top 5 star because that's it. You know, like, I don't really read nonfiction books. I really should. If anyone has any recommendations for some really good nonfiction books, then please let me know, and I'll check them out. I'd like to read more game design books. Some of the ones I've seen previews of them, and I've given them a look, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. You know, like, but some people think a theory of fun stuff like that is good, but I'm a little leery, but we'll see. I really like Skyrim, even though when I think about it, it feels like I shouldn't. Well, Skyrim has fairly good game feel, especially, sorry to go on about this, but this is part of the video too, especially compared to Witcher 3. You know what I mean? Witcher 3 has better combat than Skyrim. I think it's close to undeniable that Witcher 3 has better combat than Skyrim, but Skyrim is probably the game I would prefer to play more in terms of the combat because it has better game feel. So it's that's a really good way of explaining the importance of game feel. It's something I talk about in the video, actually. I'm a little bit worried about that point. I feel like people aren't going to understand that. I'm going to have to really make sure that I explain that well. But yeah.
A Brief History of Everything by Bill Bryson. His other book, At Home, A History of Private Life, is great too. Metaphysics of War or The Doctrine of Awakening are definitely very different takes on spirituality from how most people view it, and puts into question almost everything about the modern world. That sounds interesting. Those
sound interesting. Spirituality is something that I'm fairly ignorant about. I'm not as ignorant as some people think I was after I just like threw some shade at those people in the witness video. There were quite a few people in the comments that were like, you're shitting on some high spiritual minds here, just dismissing them, and I'm kind of like, yeah, but there's like, you're really, really ignorant, and I'm like, no, but it's like my rule of life is that whenever someone sounds crazy, they probably are, and also, like, it's really easy to get into like secret cult like status and stuff, and I feel like it's really important to call people on their bullshit, and the big one is anyone that has easy answers to life's difficult problems can just fuck off. Like, if anyone ever says, you know, oh, it's really simple, all these problems in our life are really simple, you just need to do X, fuck off. It's like nothing about that is simple at all. Like, what you're saying might be valid for other reasons, but do not present it as being this really, really simple thing, and it's just like, if only you followed this, all your problems would be over and you would achieve inner peace. Like, no. Should we get this weird thing that costs 15 cents? Meaning of life, give me money? Yeah, kind of. I almost never hear criticism of Witcher 3 than people who just don't get it. I really wonder if Joe's gonna have people recognize a lot of flaws they didn't realize when they played. Maybe. I don't know. That kind of like I don't know. Well, we're a nun now. That kind of makes me a little nervous because I don't want. I really, really don't have that high of an opinion of myself and my opinions, especially what other people think that I do. It's just that I think people think that I'm talking from authority because I have so much evidence, and if you want to disprove anything that I say in a video, you have to come at it with a shit ton of evidence too. But that doesn't mean that like my arguments are now like foolproof, airtight, you can't disagree with them unless you go and do that work. Like that's not something that you have to do in order to disagree with anything in the video. So yeah, like I really don't want to be that kind of person that's like, yeah, I'm gonna show them this is fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like that's not how I think when I make the videos at all. Even though I think some people do think that about me. Yeah. Yeah. It actually really bothers me when people use the videos and other videos like mine too. Like I've seen people use Matthew Matosis' video to just shit all over Dark Souls 2 and Bioshock Infinite, you know, without really understanding the points that are being made there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, hey, this game's shit until you can disprove this, and they link it. And, you know, people use my videos for that, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure that when I made the first video on Fallout 4, that my opinion of the game was way more negative than most people thought. And then when I made the 1 year later Fallout 4 video, my opinion was way more positive than most people thought. So it's like this weird kind of like tennis match back and forth, or tug of war with how the opinion of people are viewing games. Reusable fly hive, sure, why not? Yeah, but it's like I really don't like how the videos are used in that way. There are good ways to use the videos though, which is to link a specific part of it with a like we're having a conversation about this. Here's this video I watched, and here is it. It's just like boom, this is the part that I'm linking, and you know, can you refute this, or does this contribute to the discussion? That sort of thing. That's a good thing. But yeah. But that's like drifting way past the question. So thank you very much, Sam, and hopefully that was okay. And yeah, sorry I couldn't talk about any more books, but and sorry I couldn't talk much more about Obsidian either. I need to replay their games. The big one for me is New Vegas. Use that item every time it's charged? Okay. Are there any questions from chat real quick? And I also should say thank you to Mython665 for the 3-month resub. Thank you very much, Mython665. Thank you. 3 months in Pout Patrol. Thank you, Docro Bins. I think of Doc Ock every time I read that name. Thank you, Docro Bins, for the 15-month resub. 15 months in Cringe Cave?
Okay.
Cringe Cave? Lily's here. Does everyone remember? Thank you, Doc Robins. Thank you, Carlos Strife, for the 14-month resub, 14 months and counting. Thanks for everything you do, Joe and Lily. It's always good to see you, Carlos. I hope you're well.
Hi, Carlos.
Sorry that we didn't see this for a while. Thank you so much, Carlos. It's always good to see you. 14 months in the Lizard Lounge.
Oh, I like that.
Rub It Up Sub Club. And thank you, Lobster Person Live, for 215 bits. Cheer 12 plus 144 plus 20 plus 3 divided by 4. Wait, no, is that squared or square root? Divided by 7 plus 5 times 11 equals 9 to the power of 2 plus... What? 0, a dozen, a gross, and a score plus 3 times the square root of 4 divided by 7 plus 5 times 11 is 9 squared, and not a bit more. Was that like, how long could I read that for? Holy shit, man.
Someone asked about...
Thank you for
sorry,
that.
Gone Girl, read the book, and then come back and tell me if you think it was worth it.
Yeah, Gone Girl, the book
They
is
just
great.
saw the movie, they really liked the movie. I think the book is still better.
I think the book is better too, but the movie is actually really, really good. You know what I want to read? I haven't read Jurassic Park. I want to read Jurassic Park. I want to see if the book is better than the movie. I think the only movie that I think has been better than the book that I've ever read both is Fight Club. I think Fight Club, the book is good too, but I think the movie's better. The book, Haunting a Hill House book, is so different that it's not even the same thing, I think.
Yeah, but they took their own spin on it, right? And the book is a lot older too. Like, there was Gone Girl came out, and the movie was made quite soon after, right? So, like, wasn't that book like 1960 or something that was written?
Yeah, it was a while ago. Let's take some pills.
Have you ever played D&D? If not, would you consider playing it?
I've never played D&D. I don't know if I would consider playing it because I don't think I would enjoy it all that much. Sorry to say. I would probably, if I ever had the chance to like just sit on a session or maybe play it with someone who is patient enough to explain how it works to me and everything, then yeah, probably I would give it a try just to say that I've done it, but it doesn't look like my thing, surprisingly enough. Not even as like a DM. If like a DM, like you have to be like, it's kind of writing-ish and it's all about games, and it would seem like it would be a good fit and something I would like, but I think I would fuss too much and I would be really controlling, and I think you have to go with the flow to be a good DM in that, from what I understand. Oh shit, they come back. From what I understand about D&D. Someone asked earlier about tabletop games, and I didn't explain why I didn't really get into Warhammer, apart from just the brief, like I couldn't really afford it to give my friends. There's like something about there's like a really rude guy in the only Games Workshop that we had in the city that I grew up with, and I was like, okay, fuck this, I don't want to go back there again. Like, I was a real dick. All right, I don't think we can give 3 hearts.
Do you like board or card games?
Yeah, I think I gotta say no, because I don't like. I enjoy playing board games and card games with Lily when we have done it, but I don't really get a chance to play them anymore. So I have to say no because I don't know. You know, like one time we played Secret Hitler on stream, and I can't remember if it got a VOD or was recorded or whatever. And it was a long time ago when we were first getting into streams. I think I played it with Shammy, and I think Mandalore was there. I think that was like the second time I ever spoke to Mandalore. We did Secret Hitler, and it was just chaos. These flies keep sneaking up on me, and I keep dying. And I had a good time. I think Heavy Eyed was there too. I had a good time, but it wasn't enough for me to know for sure. So in theory, yeah, for sure, I really like card games and I like board games, but I'm hesitant to say yes because I don't get to do them as much. That was a really long-winded way to say that. I'm sorry. My thoughts are kind of a bit all over the place right now. I think I'm getting tired again now. Sorry about that. I can do a little better. I would love to see that, someone says in chat. Yeah, I'd like to do it again. Maybe we didn't stream it. Maybe we just played it without streaming it. Or maybe it was on someone else's stream. Maybe it was a stream that Shammy did. Yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, we really want to get these Patreon questions in tonight, so let's do a couple more, and then we will. Oh wow, what happened there? And then we will continue with some more. I think we're on page 15 of 16. So how many more people do we have? 1, 2, 3. We have 3 more people, so we should be able to get done because that's a really easy question. But there's this really big question right here. Okay, so how about we do these 2, and then we'll take questions for chat for a little bit, and then we'll do the last one, and then that'll be it.
Alfredo says, "Hey Joe, I hope you and your family are doing well. My first question builds off of what I asked last month about art product and auteur theory?
Auteur theory, yeah.
Not sure if you remember.
I remember the question, but I don't really 100% remember my answer, sorry.
This time I have a much more general question. Can an artistic vision from an auteur cloud or prevent the product art being made from..." Let me read that again.
Do you know what an auteur is?
I don't.
An auteur is someone that I might not even fully understand this, but it's someone that demands a great amount of control about what they're making, and it's really coming from like this one soul kind of place.
Okay.
So most books would be considered that kind of thing, but I guess there's a level of investment that's implied too. So something like I don't know if chat would agree with this or not, but Stanley Kubrick would be considered an author. That made The Shining and 2001: Space Odyssey, that sort of thing. They're usually very, very dense, deeper experiences that are often kind of controversial and difficult for people to get. But if they do get them, they're usually some of their favorites. That sort of thing.
Okay. Can an artistic vision from an author cloud or prevent the product art being made from being as fully fleshed out as possible? Does the medium as a whole not support authors or take control, or is author theory as a whole flawed? For example, did Tetsuro Nomura hold back KH3 from being the best game it could be? Does Yoko Taro's weirdness add to the value of his games, or make them a bit of a hard-to-understand mess? In other mediums, someone like Quentin Tarantino creates work that will almost always be the same, where his fingerprints are obvious, but because it's less chefs in the kitchen, it's easier, I think, for him to work. Cosmonaut Variety Hour made a video about Kingdom Hearts as a whole, and made a point about how Nomura was an artist for a couple of Final Fantasies, not a writer. Does video game design, with all of its moving parts, make the role of an author more difficult? And I'm sorry if I butchered all those names because I have no idea what I just said.
No, it's okay. So this is a difficult question. There's a lot of parts to it. So on the one hand, you're talking about does it having like this singular guided, very heavily directed vision, is that something that art benefits from? And then you're also speaking about, can games even really have that kind of guided singular vision, because video games are so difficult to make, and they by necessity, it's very rare that one person can make every single thing in a game, and even if they do, it's never going to be on the same level as something that's something like the AAA. Whereas books and movies don't really have that issue, apart from when it comes to CGI. But then again, movies, we spoke about this last time, they have to have actors, you know what I mean? Like, unless you want to be like you're the director, you're setting up the camera, you're also somehow acting it at all. I guess you could have that when it comes to an animated movie, that you're the one that animates everything, but that would be difficult, and you also have to be able to do the music and like, possible, but it's arguably way more. It's a waste of time when you could be doing way more if you just had like one other person with you. So it's not always going to be something that's solo, at least I think. But the other part of your question is like, what about when the supposed author comes from a place that they weren't a writer at first, you know what I mean? Like they were, in your case, an artist, and they weren't really a writer, and the writing suffers in this latest installment in the series. So there's a lot to work with here. I would say that small indie games can definitely have that kind of feeling, and I definitely think that with larger games like Hideo Kojima pulls it off. I don't necessarily, well, does he though? I don't know. Like, maybe there's a lot of different writing credits. I think we spoke about this in the Control stream, right? I think it was one of the, I think the last Control stream that we did, we were speaking about how, and someone asked me a question about what do I think about the ending of Metal Gear Solid 2, and I said I really feel like it was just amazingly prophetic, and at the time I disliked it and I thought it was just fucking nonsense. And now that I've gotten older, like he talks about memes and the future of the internet, and how we have to there's going to be the problem's not going to be that there's not enough information. The problem is going to be that there's too much information, and it's not about censorship, it's about providing context, and you don't even really need to censor things if you just provide the wrong context for it, and you it's like post-truth. I'm not even sure if he says post-truth in Metal Gear Solid 2, but it's really prophetic. It's actually quite scary, how close we are to what the end of that game said. And I said, like, if he wrote that, and when I was talking about it, I just assumed that he was the one that wrote that. That's amazing. That proves that he's a really good writer. Like, that was the question: is Hideo Kojima a good writer? But the thing that we spoke about during that stream was, did he write that, or did he have help? Like, is there someone that, I think didn't Kubrick had someone that he always worked with, or there was like some cinematographer or something like that he always worked with. Sometimes authors have like a partner, you know, that they always want to work with because they just mesh really well, and they'll take almost a completely subservient role isn't exactly what I want to say, but they're willing to go along with whatever the director wants. Like whatever Kojima wants, yeah, we'll do it, and I'll help you, and it's your vision, but I'm just here to just support you in any way that I can, you know, that sort of thing. Like, or does Kojima have like a writer that's with him for that sort of thing? I don't know, because it seems like Revengeance was sort of like that, but I don't think, did Kojima write Revengeance? I don't think he did he? Like, that was someone else. But yeah, I don't know if Kojima is actually that solo kind of creator, but I still think that even if there are other people like moving in on that it's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't qualify for what we're speaking about here. I really can't speak about the Kingdom Hearts thing because I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3. I do agree that Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 does have that similar kind of like feel, that it really does feel like this is someone's baby, and it's coming from this singular vision kind of experience that might not actually be the case. Maybe it's not like that at all, but I definitely think there's value in those experiences, and for me they're some of the most interesting experiences that you can have. It's sort of it comes back to the idea that I've said a few times on stream before, that I'm really interested in finding niche experiences and becoming part of the niche. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that I immediately take to and I'm immediately interested in, preferably of course, but like the niche experiences tend to be some of the best that you can find. It's actually how I consider my philosophy towards streaming has changed recently, which is that I consider that when you are a streamer, your job is to cultivate a niche. And it might be a misuse of the word niche here. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Which is that the strength of streaming is that they're like, unlike I think any other medium really. Like if you go and see a stand-up comic, or you go and see a musician on stage or whatever, you can like say things to them and everything, but it's really heavily discouraged. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to have this back and forth like you can have when you're streaming. So when you're streaming, you are constantly having this audience interaction, and no matter what, the audience is when you have that, no matter what, the audience is going to shape the content. And I think that's a really good thing, you know, because it ends up being this like possibly the most kind of like intimate form of entertainment that there is, that you can have this back and forth where as you invest more time in a streamer and they work on being that kind of streamer, that they end up being like tailoring content to their audience, and it can end up in this position where you've been rewarded with this experience that you're not going to find anywhere else. And that's not to say that it's better than anything you're going to find anywhere else, but I just think that it's sort of in the same line of that, and that's what a streamer should try to do. They should try and make it so that you can get entertainment that most people aren't going to find all that interesting or maybe even funny if it's a joke, but for anyone that's a part of that audience niche, it's like holy shit. It's like when we got raided that one time from RT Game, and they came in and they were just yelling out all these memes that like we had no idea what they were talking about. Like to them that was hilarious, and to us it was like, what the fuck is going on here, you know what I mean? And I think that's a really interesting and good thing, you know, like it's part of cultivating that kind of audience interaction that you can only get here. I think that you can kind of have an analog between that to what you spoke about Tarantino. Like Tarantino has, like you said, there was his fingerprints. I definitely agree with you there. You can almost kind of feel when, even if you were to somehow be able to watch some of those movies without even knowing that one of them was made by Tarantino, I think you could probably feel that out, you know, having watched enough of them before you get to that one. Sorry, I was drinking some water there. So there's some comparison there, I think, that you could think about. I agree that in general games are too big, but so are many movies, and I think Tarantino's movies prove that you could probably do it, because Tarantino's movies are probably on, I don't know about film development. I want to say that they're even bigger projects to manage and control than most video games, but I don't know enough about film to say that for sure. I'm gonna say it's likely, at least. I haven't played enough of any of Yoko Taro's what? Isn't this the last floor? Well, let's see where we go. I haven't played enough of Yoko Taro's games to to know what his fingerprints are like what you're talking about. So I want to agree. It definitely does have that kind of feel. Like, honestly, when I was playing Nier Automata, and to some extent even Code Vein, I kind of feel like I'm playing I feel like I'm playing a Hideo Kojima game, you know? And maybe that's proof against what you're saying, actually. I don't know. Okay, for the last part of your question, what is can I use chat as a resource here? What can someone explain to me real quick what happened with Kingdom Hearts 3? And someone in chat is talking about parasocial relationships. I think someone added me with that. Yeah, that can happen, and I don't necessarily. I don't know enough about it to know for sure. I do know I am familiar with the term. I'm saying that a lot tonight. I don't know. Sorry. So what Alfredo says in his question is that sorry, I'm reading through it. Someone made a video about Kingdom Hearts as a whole and made a point about how Nomura was an artist for a couple Final Fantasies and not a writer. Does the video game design with all its moving parts make the role of an author more difficult? So here's where my ignorance of Kingdom Hearts might be showing there. Is that someone that took over for Kingdom Hearts 3, or was he always in charge of the whole thing from the get-go? So maybe I've misunderstood the question here. I thought there was someone took over in the top spot for number 3 when he might have been there for the whole thing. Always, I believe? Okay, so I'm speaking complete out of ignorance, and I should shut the fuck up because I don't know enough about Kingdom Hearts 3 to say this. Sorry. He had a major role from the start? Okay. I don't necessarily think that someone has to have the appropriate background. Like, someone could be in charge of a full project without having the appropriate without having the appropriate skill set, you know what I mean? Like, someone could learn it, you know? Like, he wasn't a writer. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have anything to bring to the writing table, you know? Sometimes someone that's thrust in that position can learn quite a bit, you know? So I don't know. Did we just get somewhere special there, chat, and we just blew it? Yeah? Oh, sorry about that. Does this do damage to us, or does it always want to hit things, or if we throw enough, will we make a poop? I don't know. Oh, wow.
There's a short second question. You ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm still kind of thinking, because I feel like I'm giving shit answers tonight, and I feel really bad. But yeah, go for it, and maybe I'll think of something else to say.
Since that was so long, my second question is straightforward. Most anticipated release of 2019. Thanks and take care, because this was in March. So.
Right now, it would be probably Death Stranding. Maybe the new Star Wars game. I don't know. There isn't really anything left that's coming out that I'm like wow for. For the whole year, it was Sekiro, and I wasn't really that anticipated for Baba Is You, but that turned out to be like maybe better than Sekiro, maybe a game of the year. I don't know, but yeah, that's it. There's nothing else that's really on my mind. Like maybe Outer Worlds, maybe. Most anticipated game right now is probably Silksong, then maybe Ori 2, and then maybe Cyberpunk, just because I have a feeling it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be great. Dice Shard, interesting. What about Disco Elysium? The game sounds like a god RPG. I've never heard of that. I don't think. Sorry. I'm thinking, sorry. Maybe this would have been better if we had been able to answer this, like if the Q&As hadn't gone on hiatus, and I would remember what we said before in the final in the previous answer more. Yeah, I feel a bit bad. I'm sorry. Worst Q&A ever. Oh, that does damage to us too. Worst Q&A ever. Maybe it's the game. Maybe I need a more chill game, but I don't think so. Actually, I don't think so.
Come on, we already used it all up talking about childbirth and endoscopies and everything, right? So.
Have you played Shovel Knight? The last expansion is coming this year. We played Shovel Knight for the first time on stream. We did just the first campaign for Shovel Knight, and it was alright. I think there are way better games than Shovel Knight, but when Shovel Knight first came out, it was pretty special, I think. So. Anyway, I think that's all I can say, Alfredo. I'm very sorry if that was a lame answer. Too scatterbrained, I think. Too scatterbrained. Maybe going back to the Q&As was a bad idea to do it now, not because of the kids, but because of the Witcher video. Too much on my mind. Real quick, there's some things in chat. Is there any plan for a Sekiro video? Just not got around to it since the Witcher video. Yep, we're gonna do it after the Witcher video. Yep. You said a while ago Dragon Quest Builders was the worst game you played on Switch. I strongly recommend Dragon Quest Builders 2, though, since it's a humongous improvement on the original formula. It could help fill your craft farm game niche you enjoy. Oh, is it? That's good to hear. I'm glad that it's better. Yeah, I just didn't like the non-stop tutorial part of Dragon Quest Builders, even though the concept appeals to me. So, yeah, that was my issue with it. All right, so let's just dive into the next big Patreon question, and this will be the last big one that we answered. The next person asked only a small question about a dragon. And then we will take some questions from chat for a little bit, and then we will celebrate because we got through it. Not necessarily in the cleanest way, but we got through it. Anyway, so go ahead, Lily.
Justin W. says, "Greetings, Joe. Since this is my first month of being a supporter, I'd just like to say that I have nothing but respect for your long, thoughtful, and in-depth critiques. Video games are still a very young and dynamic medium of art, and I think it requires a considerable amount of contemplation and effort to create well-supported and interesting takes on them and how they could be best utilized. No matter how much I may personally disagree with your opinions, I always find them to be compelling, and they often get me to question my own opinions on video games and consider how I should judge any given game. One more thing before my questions. Thank you so much for introducing me to Hollow Knight. Although I have heard many people praise the game, it was your recommendation that got me to check out the game as soon as I did, and I've loved every second of it. Its heavy focus on exploration and the melancholy atmosphere were a perfect fit for me."
Well, this is just the perfect storm of just like the best comment that I can get. So it's someone that really appreciates the videos, can still appreciate them even though they disagree with them, and just the favorite thing I like to hear from people is that they discovered a game because of something that I said. So I'm really happy that I was able to do that for you. I don't take compliments all that well, so I will just say thank you and try to graciously accept it. But yeah, that was some pretty high praise, so thank you very much.
And I'm sorry that this was your first month supporting and then it went on hiatus right away. Sorry about that. What is your general feeling or attitude on the horror genre in film? How much do you like it in comparison to other genres? Would you consider yourself a big fan, a casual fan, or not a fan at all? Any favorites?
I'm not a big fan. Like I said earlier, because of my sleep disorder, I tried to stay away from as many horror movies as possible because they would potentially give me a lot more nightmares than I was already getting. So not the biggest fan. As I've gotten older, I've tried to branch out into it a little bit more, but I don't think I would say that I have any standout favorites, especially considering I'm not even watching all that many movies right now anyway. I guess I watch like horror action movies more than just straight up horror movies. Like I've had a little bit more time to watch some stuff recently because I've been like pedaling so much, like trying to get into better shape. And one of the things I watched was Overlord, the World War II horror action movie, but that felt more like action than it was horror. I'm not sure if I even count gore as horror anymore. I don't know. Like it's like gore doesn't really have that much effect on me anymore. In fact, I think more realistic portrayals of gore gets me way more than this over the top gore fest stuff. Like there's a scene in the TV show The Tudors, where Lily knows what I'm talking about already. There's a scene in the TV show The Tudors where one of the characters dies from being sick while at sea, and there's a scene where she comes out from the bottom deck of the boat, and she's stumbling forward, and she's just vomiting blood, just all this blood all over the place as she dies, and like that's. In terms of gore, that's way tamer than some stuff that's in so many other horror movies and everything. But that stuck with me way more. Like I still think about that every so often because it was just so messed up, you know. Like so it's like it feels more real, and that's what gets to me.
I forgot about the Tudors when we were talking about shows earlier.
Yeah,
I really liked the Tudors and Downton Abbey too. There was a scene like that in Downton Abbey.
That's
too.
all you. I haven't seen any.
No, but there was a scene like that was an Ulster or something.
I'm not really into anime, so I haven't really seen any Downton Abbey.
Is she British for you?
Should I keep the photograph or the locket, chat? Which one? Let me know. When I was a teenager, I saw The Ring, and that's a really normie movie to have be like the movie that scared me the most. But in terms of my whole entire life, that probably scared me the most more than anything. But that was just because I was just really, really young and impressionable about that, and I wasn't really experienced with so many horror movies. But I can pretty much watch most horror movies, and I can get a little unsettled depending on what the situation is. But like they can definitely get to me way more than games, but there's still like it really depends on how well it's done, you know, especially if it is more toward the action thing, right? And which one here, chat? The one on the left or the one on the right? So there's like movies like Saw and everything, I don't even really consider them to be horror. And there's stuff like this, like there's like jump scares aren't really something that interests me much anymore. If a movie is just about jump scares, then I don't even consider that horror even. It's just cheap, and I'm so desensitized to stuff like zombies and everything that's kind of got to the point where I don't even consider that horror either. I would think that maybe like Walking Dead, I can watch that. It doesn't even faze me. People getting ripped apart, but yet the first time I saw Shaun of the Dead, and there's a character that dies late into the movie getting pulled apart from a window, and there's something about that, even though it's a comedy movie, that got to me more than almost any other zombie death, you know, that really stuck with me. So I don't know, but yeah, like I can say Saw, but I don't even know if that's even a horror movie. What would be my favorite for my bullshit criteria that I'm just making up on the spot here? I don't know. Stuff like the slasher movies, like Scream and anything like Jason and Freddy Krueger and anything. It's like, yeah, those are alright, but they seem like more fun to me, right? I didn't see the new Halloween. Had spooky. You didn't hear it, but it kind of had like spooky music from one of those movies there on the in the game there. That was funny. There was one I watched recently, like Haunting Hill, as we spoke about earlier, but that's not really a movie. That didn't really scare me all that much, but I was like, I'm more like think it's cool, like the character designs are cool, like the ghost designs. But I'm sure there was a movie recently that scared me that I watched it, and I can't remember what it is now. I should start keeping track. I'm getting to that age now where I need to keep track of all the media that I consume. Does that scare you, Lily? Because I'm only a little ahead of you when it comes to age, huh?
Forever. So, no. It helps. It helps to look back at the year and be like, what did I read? What did I watch? Because I don't remember things, or I forget
That Shaun of the
That
Dead
is.
death is a reference to Day of the Dead. Oh, I haven't seen that. I also haven't seen. This is gonna be like unacceptable to some of you, and I'm sorry about this. I haven't seen 28 Days Later or 28 Weeks Later. I'm really sorry. I really want to see them, but I haven't. I'm so sorry. Have you seen Hereditary? No, I haven't. I haven't seen Death Note either. No. Have you seen Get Out? No, I haven't. I think more psychological horror gets to me more than anything else. Like you're in like a weird situation. Like to me, even though it's not really a horror movie, there was this like kind of like a sci-fi movie called Coherence that spoke to me more as a horror movie than something like Saw. Or even Primer. Like Primer to me is more of a horror movie. I like subtle horror. Why did that hurt me when it didn't the previous time? Yeah, I like more subtle horror that's more horrific when you think about it, and it's kind of like, oh shit, you know, like if I was in that situation, like what would I do? And I would be completely fucked. There's a movie that's just like on the tip of my tongue. When you're flying and only hurts going out. Okay. I would guess the most overt horror movie that I've seen recently, and by recently I mean it was like 6 years ago, was a Korean movie called Noroi, which Weeaboo Bill asked me to watch, and I watched it, and that pretty much creeped me out because it's more like a building dread kind of horror that explodes at one point, and it's kind of like, oh okay, like horror that maybe only the audience will recognize, and everyone the characters are oblivious to it. So kind of like a dramatic irony sort of horror kind of thing. Has anyone seen Noroi? Maybe it has a Korean name that I don't know, and no one's gonna know what Noroi is. This is why you like Soma? Yeah. I really like the story in Soma. It was very, very good. Definitely a great horror experience. Is it Japanese? It's not Korean? I thought for sure it was Korean. Is Train to Busan considered a horror movie? Like, I consider that more of an action movie. So desensitized to horror, everything's like, yeah, that's an action movie. Wasn't there some fucked up movie that we watched sometime recently, Lily, and it was like more of like a situation that they get into? And we were like, what the fuck?
For horror?
Yeah, for horror.
We don't watch much horror together.
No, we don't. But wasn't there something? Confusing Japanese and Korean strips you of the King League title so much. Oh no, no, not my title.
So that's all you have to do all this time.
Let me Google something real quick. Cabin in the Woods isn't a horror movie according to me, although if it is, that's probably up there with Saw. Cabin in the Woods is absolutely fantastic. Saw was 2004? Holy shit. Apparently Train to Busan is considered a horror movie. That was really great, but I would consider that an action movie for sure. Silence of the Lambs, we watched that together. I don't really think that was all that horrific, do you?
I don't even remember it. Oh, I do remember it. It wasn't that bad.
Seven had some horror parts of it.
Poltergeist. I forgot about Poltergeist. There.
Jaws scared me when I was a kid, but I saw it when I was a kid. The others you spoiled for me accidentally as we sat down to watch it.
I'm bad for that. That was good though. I liked that. And The Sixth Sense, that was spoiled for me, so that one was good still too. The Omen was good.
Evil Dead was kind of creepy when we watched that when we were teenagers. Remember that?
Yeah. Rosemary's Baby, I've read the book. I haven't seen the movie.
Shaun of the Dead is comedy horror. Building Tension Horror is king. Yeah, I think so too. All right, what's the top 100 horror movies on Rotten Tomatoes? Get Out is number 1. Really? Damn, I need to watch that. A Quiet Place is number 3. I thought Quiet Place wasn't that great.
Carrie.
Aliens is horror. Alien is horror, but is Aliens? Aliens is an action movie. Is Alien a horror movie? Really? Alien's really good, but is that a horror movie?
Doesn't feel like horror.
The Lion King live action version, number 4 on this list. What the hell? That really counts. I'm just kidding. It's not here. Haven't seen it. The Cabin in the Woods is there. That's not a horror movie to me. That's a perfect movie to show that some things can be horror themed instead of horror. You know what I mean?
The Love Witch.
The Love Witch.
Let's watch that.
I've never heard of The Love Witch. The Love Witch. Sounds like the sandwich, only it's love. This is 2016. This looks like an old movie, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Did they do that on purpose?
They must have, yeah.
Never even heard of this.
Huh.
Oh, she's pretty, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Samantha Robinson, damn. The film opens with Elaine, a beautiful young witch, driving to Arcata, California to start a new life after the death of her husband, Jerry. Oh no, Jerry! It is heavily implied that Elaine murdered him. Once there, she rents an apartment in a Victorian home. Oh man, this is a Lily movie. Maybe we'll watch this. Wonder how scary it gets. Has anyone seen The Love Witch 2016?
I'm curious about whatever happened to Baby Jane. That could go like...
Baby Jane?
Yeah, it's there. Whatever happened to Baby Jane, 1962.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
It's kind of an ominous title.
How important is it for you when judging a film? Is being a good horror movie just as important as being a straight up good movie? No, I don't really care about genres all that much, to be honest. It's like genres are really good for when you're classifying things and you're having discussions about them, and this discussion that we're having right now is specifically about horror movies, so that's where the classification is important. But when it comes to judging something that, like, does it succeed, like, yeah, that's great, but it does come back to expectations, though. If something is told to you as this is a horror movie, and then you go in, or let's do the opposite. If someone says to you, this is a comedy movie, and then for the first 60 minutes it is a comedy movie, and then in the last 60 minutes it just goes boom 180 and becomes complete flat out horror, and it's amplified because the first 60 minutes were a comedy and you thought it was a comedy, then I think that's excellent. I think that's a great way of toying with your expectations, you know? But if someone says to you, this is a horror movie, and you go in and watch it and it's not a horror movie at all, and it doesn't do that thing where it toys with your expectations, it's just fucking not, then I think that's where it can become a negative. And you can judge it separate from that, which is what I try to do when I end up disagreeing with the genre tags on any piece of media. But yeah, it's really not important for general discussions.
Dracula's there. I think I've seen that one with Boris Karloff, 1931.
Gerald's Game. Gerald's Game's pretty fucked up.
Maybe it was a later one with him. I don't know. It was very well done though. Whatever one that was with him, very
Donnie Darko is a horror movie. Is Donnie Darko a horror movie? I've seen Donnie Darko. I liked it. I didn't love it, but is that a horror movie? That's definitely psychological horror, I guess. Yeah, that's horror. Donnie Darko is not horror? You think so? I'm really sorry, Justin. This has become a conversation of what is horror and what's not. I would not say it's really horror. It's more of a thriller. Yeah, I think I want to agree, but there are some like kind of horrific moments in there, right? My problem is that I just haven't watched a lot of movies. Let me tell you my darkest movie secret, okay? I haven't seen all of the Die Hards, and it was within this decade that I saw Die Hard 1 and 2 for the first time ever. I'm very ignorant of a lot of movies. I just never seen them. Anton1699 says, I haven't seen a single Die Hard. We got him, chat. We set him up. We got him to admit that we hadn't done it. I've seen all of them multiple times. I was kidding. It was all to get Anton6999 to admit that he hasn't seen a single one. We did it. Mission accomplished. Let's close up the stream. We did it. Slither is number 95 on this list? With Nathan Fillion? Really? Anyway, I wouldn't consider myself a big fan of any horror movies. But I'm a fan of horror moments. Like one of the most horrific moments in any movie that I remember recently isn't even in a horror movie. It's in Interstellar, when Matthew McConaughey comes back up from the time dilation planet. Like that to me is just like, oh my god. That's just like, fuck. So it's like those kind of moments are what I really, really like. I find that when a movie goes out of its way to be, we are a horror movie, it gets caught up in a lot of these different tropes that are very like kind of like slasher and blood and murder, that sort of thing. That's what's typical stands out as a horror movie. I think I prefer things that have horror moments that they capitalize on an otherwise very, very strong story. I think that's what I prefer. There probably are horror movies that do that go out of their way to be horrific, and they go for that. And I would be interested in watching some of them, but I think I'm a bit ignorant here. I haven't seen Hereditary, no. It bothers me how most movie buffs ignore the first half of movie history. I don't know enough about movie buffs to comment on that either, Seth. I'm definitely not a movie buff. Things that make your heart sink rather than startle. Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good way of describing it. Yeah. Do you define a horror movie as a film that scares you or should scare you? Probably. I guess like defining scare in this context can be difficult too, right? Like if it's horrifying you, it's not necessarily scaring you either, right?
Oh, The Birds. The Birds was good.
The Birds is pretty creepy. The idea of the birds.
Oh, The Birds. I don't like birds.
Oh, I remembered it now. We didn't watch it together. Some of the creepiest and it's scary, horrific. All of them is from the TV series Luther. Because it's so grounded. If you've seen Luther, there's a scene, and it does this quite a bit, where it does home invasions, and like it shows this character like coming home from their work, and it's late and they live alone, and they're going through like their nightly ritual and everything, and then they hear a noise and they're a little bit creeped out, and then they're like, they check and it was nothing. It came from downstairs. They go downstairs. It was nothing. They go back upstairs in the room. They go to bed and they turn the light off, and then it's like a couple seconds pass, and then there's just like a guy that comes out from under the bed that's been hiding there, and it's like, this is a serial rapist murderer that's there, and it's like, it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's that idea of planning into your head, like there could be someone in your house, there could be someone that's doing this sort of thing, like there. And I think it was really well done in Luther for some of those scenes. I think they tried to do it a little bit in the one that has the 50 Shades of Grey guy and Gillian Anderson. Fuck. Is it Gillian or Gillian?
I think it's Gillian now. I've been saying Gillian forever. But...
The Fall. Yeah, The Fall. Whereas stuff in Hannibal, like nothing about Hannibal was horror to me. I guess maybe the idea that maybe someone like as batshit as Hannibal could actually exist, and convince him to be that way. But in terms of like the murders that happen there, they're just so over the top that it just becomes spectacle instead of horror.
The Killing wasn't horror. It was like psychological thriller.
I don't think The Killing is horror either,
right?
yeah.
It wasn't really... It was more disturbing than it was...
I think horror films shouldn't scare you in the moment, but scare you in the sense that you keep thinking about it and you sort of scaring yourself and as you think about it more. That's a good way of describing what horror should do, yeah. I don't know, maybe it's like, maybe after consuming so much media and especially playing so many games, maybe it's just like it's not possible to get scared by startle or spectacle anymore without it being like a cheap boo, you know? Like when you get scared by a jump scare in a movie, first of all, I don't even know if they even work on me anymore unless it's 100% unexpected, you know? Like those jump scares that they used to be around on the internet where they would show you, like they would play a clip of a movie and then all of a sudden the scary zombie face would just show up out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Or it would be a picture, you think it's a picture, but it's actually a GIF and there would be a ghost that appears in the background and then just jumps out at you, that sort of thing. Like that. But that's not scary, that's just cheap, you know? Like, what about using the imagination and using what the audience cannot see rather than using what is shown? That can work. I think there's some movies that I've seen that have done that quite well. To go back to The Ring, I felt like The Ring was really scary up until the point where they showed whatever the ghost's name is coming out of the TV set. Like that was just like, oh, okay, it's like she looks like Gollum, I'm not scared anymore. Like literally, like as I was watching that movie in the theater, I was really creeped out and scared and really on edge after the jump scare they have right in the beginning with the scene in the closet. Like that really, I was like, oh my god, and that got to me, and then I was on edge for most of the movie, and then at the end, even in the movie theater, like it was funny. So, but then it still stuck with me a little after that. Is it horror imagery that doesn't get to you? I think it can get to me, yeah, for sure. But I find that maybe it's because I've consumed so much media that has horrific imagery, like Hannibal, you know? There's horrific imagery that I think can be like majestic almost. It's like, wow, that looks so cool, you know? Like that looks really, that looks beautiful in a grotesque way, you know? And then and I think maybe it has to be a specific kind of horror imagery. Did Alien scare you properly? Yes, but I was really young when I first saw Alien. Like when I was a kid, like anything could scare me. Like literally, like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie scared me when I was a kid because there was vampires in it. Ooh, like when I was a kid, anything could scare me. To me, horror doesn't have a release to it. When I was a kid, I saw some horror animated short that I closed halfway through when it showed horrific imagery. I'm still terrified of it because I lack closure of that horror short. It's stuck so hard for me that I can't really watch horror films or play horror games, but I can conceptualize horror things. I think I had a similar experience with that Salad Fingers thing that was going on the internet for a while. There's something about Salad Fingers that just was like nails on a chalkboard for me. It creeped me out so much, Salad Fingers, that I just turned it off. I was like, I'm not watching this anymore. Like Salad Fingers just got something in my lizard brain that was like, fuck you. Like I couldn't stand fucking Salad Fingers. Do you think horror... Well, hold on. Do you think that horror in VR, including a sense of presence, would allow you... Why is chat moving like this? No matter how far up I scroll, it keeps moving down. Would allow you to feel that feeling of horror? I think so, yeah. I think that VR would be a new enough experience that it could get to me for sure. Yeah. How about Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared? That didn't get to me quite as much, but it gave me a similar feeling of unease. Yeah, for sure. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I watched only one episode of that, and at the end montage where it starts flashing different imagery, like this eerie feeling that something is really, really wrong. Like that, I think that kind of horror really gets to me more than anything else. Technically, Shauna, that is horror comedy to most anyway. At that point, I don't understand what constitutes a genre, especially considering thriller counts as a lot of horror films. Yeah, it just proves that genres are kind of dumb and really messy, and they're only really for just broad discussions. Yeah. Too Many Cooks was really unsettling to me, despite also being pretty hilarious. Yeah, I feel that same way too. Yeah, there's something about like. It can be happy and sing-songy, even anything. Just something about like. It almost gets into that Lovecraftian idea that there's like this deep lurking horror underneath all of reality, and things that are that surreal, even if they're trying to be kind of happy and cheerful at the same time, like it's like someone stripping a layer of protective perception away from you, and you're seeing like the real horrific world that's underneath that you're ignoring the whole time. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of like it just really just gets right into my head, and it's just like, this is just so fucking wrong, and it just gets to me. And I don't think I can think of a movie that's really done that. Maybe Noroi got the closest because there's just something like really unsettling about Noroi. I don't know. Things are just a little off or super scary. It's almost real, but it isn't. Yeah, because I think you can fill in the imagination yourself too, right? It lets you create the horror yourself, which I think is the best way to do it. Have you ever played Darkwood? Yeah, we played on stream one time. Yeah, I know. So sorry to have this completely derailed into it, but I guess we've learned that, especially for the horror genre, it's difficult to really nail what it is and how it works. Justin, sorry about that. Justin had a second question, and then we can discuss a couple things with chat, and then we'll do the last one. So go for it, Lily.
Do you believe that most horror movies are to some degree less valuable than movies in other genres? I'm not talking about horror movies like Annihilation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Or games like Soma.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Annihilation. Sorry. Yeah, Annihilation is definitely a horror movie, but I don't even know where I put that. Let's not get back into it. Go ahead. Sorry.
That more blatantly focused on complex existential forms of horror, but on the types of horror movies that have a basic premise, which can essentially be summed up in just a short sentence. A spaceship crew discovers an alien egg which births a monster. A man takes his family to a haunted hotel and goes crazy. A girl is possessed by a demon. At the Academy Awards, horror films rarely get any kinds of nominations aside from an occasional technical award, regardless of how much critical praise they get.
Okay, hold on. Before we go on, chat, is that true? Because I don't know enough about the Academy Awards to know. That sounds true to me. That sounds like the same thing that comedy movies go through. Is that true? Horror movies don't really get the same kind of attention. Yeah, it is. Okay, all right. Go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
Regardless of how much critical praise they get, as the members of the Academy seem to believe that most horror movies are too simplistic to be put on the same level as movies of other genres. I would personally argue that all of the best horror films are never just about the physical threat of the film. Alien touches on the horror of the inhuman, mainly through H.R. Giger.
Mm-hmm.
It's brilliant design for the xenomorph. Some interpret The Shining as being about denial and acceptance of humanity's past sins, having imagery and dialogue that references Native Americans, racism, and the Holocaust. Despite all of this, you've said before that you generally place more value on a story than its themes, and these horror movies have undeniably simple stories, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you for your time, and best wishes to you and your family.
So I definitely think that it's a shame that if that is true, that horror movies should they deserve more recognition, and I think comedy movies also deserve more recognition. Like, and I really hate that things are limited by genre like that way, and when they come to a prestige, it seems like there's this really weighted perception toward things that are just straight drama, especially about dealing with like some traumatic events in our history and much more overt political things. You know what I mean? Like, because you are right, some of these movies deal with things that are a lot more subtly, and you would think that though would be like right up in the alley of a lot of people that like to judge art, but apparently not. Yeah, I think it's a real shame. So I enjoy things that are more. I like the craft of stories more than it comes to speaking about like themes and symbolism and all that kind of stuff. That does not mean that I'm never into that. It's that I'm a strong believer in the idea that you can make anything about anything if you try hard enough when it comes to themes and symbolism. Like you could, if you have it's just basically a limiter of how much knowledge you have when it comes to other media. And if you really want to spend hours and hours or maybe even days, at the library or reading synopsis of movies and books and everything, like, you don't even have to go and watch them or consume the whole thing. You can make enough literary connections and references that you could make anything be about anything. So I almost need there to be some sort of like marker by the content itself that's saying, hey, this is legitimate, this is actually what we're doing, this is 100% on purpose. I don't know how you can do that without it ruining like you be able to interpret in any way that you also want to do. I think that's important. I think it is important that you can have things open to interpretation. I I think your example of Alien is like right on. Like, yeah, like that seems like it does the job. So maybe you would have to study movies that seem to have done it really, really well and see how it is that they do it. Maybe it can only work when it is kind of simple, and maybe that's why people don't like it. Maybe that's why the intellectuals don't go in for that kind of thing, because they feel like it's too on the nose. When I don't know if I agree with that. Sorry, I'm thinking. I understand a lot of people disagree with me when it comes to that anything can be about anything. But I do really feel strongly about that, and I think it's probably provable too. Like, if you put enough time in, you know. I was kind of doing a thought exercise about Silent Hill 2 after we played it, and I did a shit ton of research about it, that, you know, like, how many different ways can I interpret everything in the story, you know, like, and I think I got up to 5 that used almost anything in the story. One of them would have made people very angry, but, you know, that was kind of the point I was trying to make. Maybe I'll still do it if there's ever a video on Silent Hill 2. Here's the thing, though, like, I'm saying this as a negative right now because that's just the context that we're going through in the conversation, but it's really not. It's not a problem that you can make anything be about anything. It's just less interesting to me because you're doing all the work at that point. You know, as a reader or the audience, you're doing the heavy lifting for the writer or the director or the creator, whoever's in charge of the main point of the movie. And while I agree that subtext is text, you know, that's the weird fucking saying that, you know, like, the subtext is the most important part that's going on. What isn't being said is usually the most important part of whatever story that you're looking at the moment that you're going through, especially with Binding Isaac, right? I just can't get on board with off the wall interpretations like that as being like the only way that a film can be viewed, you know, like, or a book can be viewed. Like, this is it, with no confirmation from the people that wrote it. This is definitely what this is about, and if you disagree with this, then you just haven't thought hard enough about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really like that. But that's getting into the other point of your question. It's not really about how horror movies are viewed, I don't think, which I think is a real shame. What were the other examples that you had? Just so I can follow along. I haven't seen The Shining. I've seen Alien, but I'd like to see it again because it's been a while. I definitely agree with you on Alien.
A girl is possessed by a demon. It's the Exorcist.
Yeah. So simple stories can definitely have hidden layers of meaning, and I would say that if you can get there, you know, like, in a reasonable way without having to, like, really draw from, like, really, like, how do you even define a stretch of something, right? How do you even define something that can even be provably wrong? Like, I remember when I was sorry to bring up Silent Hill 2, it's just the most recent memory that I've gone through this. You know, like, I had people telling me, you know, like, you didn't even notice that every single enemy in Silent Hill 2 is female, because that's an important thing about what James is going through. And it's like, yeah, but that's not even true. You know what I mean? Like, that's wrong. So I think if you can get into the point where you can prove some things that's showing that people are looking way too much into it, but does that really invalidate that observation? Because it's interesting. So I guess it comes back to the idea that do you want to have, like, truth and like admire deliberate story structure and work that has been like blatantly put into something, and really get into what the writer intended you have, that kind of experience? Or do you want to have art be something that's just a springboard for you to have your own thoughts and have your own interpretation on them? And I kind of feel like the trap there is to say that, well, it has to be one or the other. I don't think it has to be. I think you can do both. I think you can admire something for what you think that it was really setting out to do and acknowledge that, and then have your cake and eat it too, and go into a big thought process in detail about how, like, okay, well, what can this mean to me? You know, what, like, it doesn't even have to be about other media that you've consumed or whatever, right? Like, there have been plenty of times where I've seen a reference to something and enjoyed the reference of it. You know, like, there's a callback to, like, there was a time when I felt like The Walking Dead was referencing Fallout. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I enjoy that, but someone else that doesn't get that reference is gonna be able to enjoy that too on a different level. But there's also what you can personally bring to the table as well. Like, how does this link to some experiences that you've had in your past, and like, how does maybe something speaks to you on a very deeply personal level, and that's what you get out of that content. Who's to say that that interpretation is wrong, even if it doesn't make 100% sense? It's just, to me, it's like, it's a whole different area of appreciating art, rather than like the craft, for lack of a better word. Or I don't know, maybe craft is fine. Does that make sense? It's just kind of weird that I find that more intellectual people that go in for art and stuff are really into looking at art that way, but you're saying that they don't do it enough in horror, in a lot of these horror movies. But maybe that's because horror movies, they don't get past the simple, or they think it's so simple that there's no way there could be anything more there, or maybe it's that those interpretations are too easy. I don't think so. At the Academy, it's more the drama awards, unless the audience yells at us to nominate it, which is why Mad Max Fury Road was nominated, as was Black Panther. Oh man, Mad Max Fury Road should be nominated though. Mad Max Fury Road was great. Did they yell hard enough for that? Black Panther should not have been nominated. What the fuck was Black Panther nominated for? I watched that movie. That movie was terrible. Was that really nominated? What was it nominated for? The best recreation of PlayStation 1 CGI for the final battle?
Best picture.
Really? What? Wow, I guess you're right. Yell hard enough and it gets on there. Wow, okay. Like, I mean, in terms of Marvel movies, like, that, it was okay. You know, like, it wasn't the worst Marvel movie that I've seen, because Captain America wasn't in it. But, like it's still not, like, best picture? Oh, shit. Oh, no. No, Flexen's gonna be so mad. Oh, Flexen's gonna be so mad. Oh no. You know what, Flexen, just to make it worse, I'm not picking up that heart. Oh no. Okay, so I think we're focusing too much on the Academy Awards part of this then, because I guess that's separate from like intellectuals. Maybe it's even a false premise to be like, the academy is full of intellectuals, because obviously it's a popularity contest. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I can say about that. I'm really sorry to have waffled on, but these are topics that I'm still like thinking about all the time. We just killed ourselves. I'm still thinking about all the time, and I haven't really settled on where I stand about that kind of thing, and I'm not really comfortable with that, with where I am when it comes to how we interpret and consume art. It kind of bothers me how many people seem to think that I don't or can't enjoy themes and symbolism and subtext in games, when, you know, I've spoken about that in videos in the past. You know, I've praised it, and it's like, yeah, this can be a great thing, you know, like, here's how I think it works in this game, you know, like Soma and Edith Finch, like fuck, man, like God of War even, you know, like Last of Us, like, I don't know, it just, I just don't know what my final thoughts are going to settle on that. I definitely think that you should be able to consume art or media in any way that you want, and if that's how you get value out of it, that's fine, and all the more power to you. And it's like I shouldn't even have to say, yeah, that's valid, that's legitimate, that's great. There is no objectivity, but sometimes I feel like in the case of Silent Hill 2, that people are reaching with what they're doing, and you know, they point to some evidence that, you know, oh, this is intended, here's the developer commentary. Well, I've watched them all, and I still don't see it. Like, but oh well, that's a story for another time, and maybe it's not worth getting into. What game makes a game art, or can everything be art? I think there is no solid definition for art at the moment. Yeah. That's what I used to say when they were having our games art debate. It's like, okay, like you guys are raging, you know, and having all these arguments about what is and what isn't art, and it's like, first of all, you should decide, you know, like what even constitutes art, you know, like games can't be art, or can't not be art if we don't have a solid definition for art. And it's weird, like games definitely contain art, it's undeniable, but it's like the way I looked at it was always a tour of a museum, like a guided tour of a museum that someone puts work into. Like they've thought about it for a long time. They're like, okay, I think that the flow of all the exhibits that we have are best done in this order, and I'm going to take them on this guided tour and explain it in this way as we come to each part of the exhibition. It's like, okay, well, a tour of a museum absolutely contains art, it's undeniable, but is the tour itself art? Can a guided tour of a museum be art? And it's like, I don't know. And that's kind of what the game is, right? The game structure is a guided tour through the game's art. And it's like, I don't know. But I would say that most of the time that almost anything could be art, yeah. Black Panther is actually a good example to this discussion. The reason it is now the 4th highest grossing film in North America ever is because it managed to hit on so many themes that resonate with the culture of the now, and the quality didn't matter as long as it was passable. See, when you say it like that, I'm like, okay, then maybe it does deserve Best Picture, you know? Like, if it spoke to that many people, isn't that all it has to do? Isn't that all it has to be? You know, like on some level, sure, there are many ways to judge art, but maybe it deserves it. Like I did not enjoy that movie much at all. I felt it was a really bad movie, but when you say it like that, hey, I guess so. Which movie? Black Panther. But I don't know about how we feel about. I want to say, like, I don't know how I feel about public opinion being something that decides what's considered great and what isn't, but that's all there is, isn't there? That's all there can be. There can be nothing else. Although, like, that's getting dangerously into the topic of are some people's opinions worth more than others when it comes to media, and I would say kind of, yeah. I would say that someone who's devoted their entire life to studying like a medium of art, I kind of feel like maybe their opinion worth more than others. And this has come from someone who has devoted a significant amount of his time to studying video games. I wouldn't say it applies to me because I haven't put enough work in. I just like to talk about it and put out what I feel. But like someone who's like spent 30 years studying film and like consuming a shit ton of film content and thinking about it and writing about it and putting all that time in, I kind of feel like their opinion should be worth a little bit more than some 10-year-old who just watched Frozen for the first time. Like I feel pretty confident in that argument. So yeah, that's not how the Academy Awards work as to public opinion. Well, the premise we're going on right now is that if the public cries enough for something, then usually it gets some recognition. Not saying Frozen's bad, by the way. I haven't seen it. It's probably great. I've heard the song though. Anyway, let's move on. Are there any other questions from chat that we missed before we answer the last short Patreon question? And then we'll call it a night. I think we're losing Lily a bit here. No, you're fine?
Actually, I'm pretty awake, which is not good.
Uh-oh.
Because they went to bed early tonight. The last Q&A I watched, you mentioned that you didn't like most fantasy novels. I don't remember exactly what you said your tastes were, but I thought you would really like Patrick Rothfuss's Name of the Wind. I would highly recommend it. I'm sure there is a better term, but I would say it's a rare, realistic fantasy. It feels much more down to earth than other books in the genre.
I've heard of it. I would like to watch it. I would like to read it, but I'm waiting for him to finish it first, which I know some people are going to say lol about that, but yeah, I don't like getting into something and then it turns out that it never gets finished. And I'm a gigantic hypocrite because like I have story series and books that aren't finished, and I would love to go back and finish them, but like the reason why I haven't finished mine is because I can't afford to do it, whereas Rothfuss seems to be either uninspired or he's having some trouble getting it done, you know, same with George R. R. Martin, but yeah. But I would very much like to get into that at some point. I've heard great things. Would you like it if I said I rediscovered a game thanks to your videos? Your Uncharted plus Last of Us video got me to revisit the latter, and I found a great deal more to love than when I first played it. Yeah, that's a pretty good comment. Thank you for that. Yeah, I that's much nicer and a better thing to hear than someone saying thanks to your video I now don't like this game anymore. Like that's always kind of a kick in the balls. It's like, oh man, that's really not the reason why I do these, you know, like. Even with something that I'm so far away from public opinion on, like Odyssey and Silent Hill 2, like there was someone who left a comment on one of the videos, one of the Silent Hill 2 streams, I think, and said something like, you know, watching this stream has made me realize a couple of flaws that I was in this game that I wasn't aware of before. So thanks for that. And I was like, oh man, like I hope that you still really like it, and you're just kind of like. You just feel like you're more secure in what you think about this game now, and not like, oh, now I don't like this because of your stream. Like that's and same with Odyssey too, you know, like that's always kind of like a kick in the balls.
Since you gave up on making a video about your favorite game of 2018, can you say which one was it?
Crosscode. Crosscode is my favorite game in 2018. The 2018 video still might happen, and Crosscode, if I continue making small videos like that, Crosscode will definitely get one because it deserves it. But yeah, Crosscode is my favorite game in 2018.
What is your opinion on playing the game wrong? How much responsibility relies on the developer to make sure the player plays the game right, tutorialization, incentives, etc., versus making their own fun with more open-ended games? There have been games which I've played wrong before and disliked, but after I figured out how to actually play the game, I've had a much better time. I imagine as a streamer, you're quite used to chat telling you that you're playing the game wrong.
Yeah, I'm actually going through that with a game right now that I can't say just yet, but yeah, it is possible to play a game wrong. It's possible to not click with a game for a lot of reasons. One of the games that was like that for me, which should be surprising for a lot of you, or maybe not because this game is kind of known for that, is Dark Souls. Dark Souls is a game that when I first played it, I really didn't like it. I was like, wow, this game is clunky as shit, and what the fuck? Why does everyone like this game so much? It's so clunky. That was the word, just over and over again. Clunk, 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 clunk. So I definitely feel you, and I definitely understand. Like, and it's inarguable to me that you can play a game wrong. Like, you can't argue it. The example that I did is that, you know, I make it a joke, but it's real true. Is that, you know, there was once a boy that had a father, and this father decided that, you know, because he was a big Star Trek fan, that he was going to play Elite Force 2 for PC. And this father continued playing it, telling his son that he was having a good time. And then one day, the father got stuck and asked his son for help. He couldn't make a jump in one of the later levels. So the son went into the room, went over to his keyboard, and hit caps lock so that the father wasn't slow walking through the whole entire game anymore. And now he was able to make the jump. And maybe that was me, and maybe I was the son, and maybe that was my dad. But yeah. So it's definitely possible to play a game wrong for sure. But yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, we're dead. But that's kind of like a shitty way of taking your question, right? It's like that's just not understanding the tutorial. But you did mention tutorials in there. Yeah, I think that as a game designer, you definitely have a hard, you know, task ahead of you to make sure that you are tutorializing your game without over tutorializing your game. I don't know
what the right thing to do is there. I don't know if what's better, to over tutorialize or under tutorialize. I guess my answer is that you can do both, because you can just make it all options, right? You just need to make it like a toggle or an optional thing, and if someone gets stuck at some point, or they get angry, then they can just be like, okay, well, you should have done the tutorial. But then, like, I'm pretty sure that in the example with my dad, that it probably did give him a tutorial and he just didn't see it, and now he's having a bad time. And whether it's that person's fault or not, you don't want your player to have a bad time. So I guess you err on the side of like no one left behind. I don't know. It's a really, really tough question. Yeah. But it's like I veer dangerously close sometimes. Oh, by the way, someone in chat is asking if we're going to play Persona 5 Royal. Yeah, we are. We're going to play Persona 3, then 4, then Persona 5 Royal over 2020 and 2021. We're not going to play them all back-to-back in a row, but we'll play them over the next 2 years. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, yeah, it's like... I completely lost my train of thought now. Shit. Oh, I veer dangerously close sometimes to playing a game wrong. Like, you could argue that, right, I'm doing it right now with Code Vein. Like, I'm not using the spells and abilities that you get for it. And my answer to that is that I think you can only play a game wrong if you're having a bad time because of the choices that you're making, or because of your ignorance. If you're ignorant to a mechanic but you're still having a good time, and then you might even have a better time later when you finally do realize the mechanic, like, and you can even have like a special second playthrough, you know, like now that you're aware of that mechanic, and you might be able to get 2 playthroughs out of the game instead of 1, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that needs to be what's considered, is that it's only bad if it's only wrong if it's diminishing the experience greatly for you. Yeah. We were kind of discussing this while we were playing Code Vein, and we were talking about how creator intentions are really important. And someone said something about how, like, what about games though, you know, like, and they made a joke about the fact that I was ignoring part of the game, which was very well deserved, because we were talking about movies before then, and I kind of spaced out, and I should have said, and I forgot to say this. Probably will say it in the next stream, maybe, if those people are still there. But like, if you... like, you make your own fun in games, so you go for it. Like, if whatever you want to do, like that, they're all the tools to make it an enjoyable experience. But like, if ignoring part of something in a movie does the same way for you, or even a book, then go for it. That's fine too. There are no rules. I think that there should always be this kind of developer intention thought in your head for when it comes to enjoying things on that level. But there's this whole other experience that's 100% valid and may even be more enjoyable for a lot of people, which is like, yeah, make whatever you want of it. It doesn't really matter. Go for it. Certain that person was it you? Sorry, don't be sorry. It was a very fair comment. I'm sorry that I got distracted and I didn't go on to say that, you know, the same thing applies to any, you know, any form of art. Like, if like an extreme example, like if you prefer listening to Taylor Swift backwards, you know what I mean? Like, hey, it's what the fuck is her song that just came out with the guy from Panic! In the Disco in it? Do you remember?
One of them was Lover or something, wasn't it? Was it Lover? I don't remember. She had a few come out after that, I think.
Okay, so Trouble. I knew you were Trouble when you walked in. You know, like, if you prefer to listen to that backwards and you think it's a better song backwards, then who the fuck is anyone to tell you that you're wrong? Go for it, man. Like, and same thing for games, same thing for movies. I think it's just, you can only play it wrong if it's diminishing your enjoyment. Like, you're listening to Taylor Swift backwards, you're like, whoa, this is shit. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit. You're listening to it backwards.
What happened to me with Aubergine, I didn't realize I had to fill the book until an hour into the game. I was just walking around like, this is a weird storytelling technique, and then I realized, face palmed, and then started the game from the beginning.
Hey, at least you noticed. Okay, so let's do the last Patreon question, and then we'll take some more from chat maybe, and then we will end it, and we will celebrate, because we got it done. We got it done. Which one's chat? Left or right?
Left.
Left. Now right? Oh, you almost tricked me. Oh wow, we are like crazy man now.
So, Door S says, what is the name of the dragon in your picture?
Well, I'm very sorry to disappoint you, but there is no name of the dragon in my picture. So the dragon in my picture is a royalty-free stock image that I used for the book covers for my books that I know full well that the covers are terrible. Like, I made them myself. They were to be made as cheaply as possible, you know, so they could just have some visual aid for going up on Amazon. I know full well that my covers are terrible. And so there was no name attached to that dragon from the artist that made it, and there's no name that I've attached to that dragon from in the story that dragon is in. So that dragon is from the story The Wizard and the Dragon, and some other stories too. Spoilers, but yeah, it's not that dragon does not have a name. Maybe I will name that dragon at some point, but right now there's no name for that dragon. Maybe I will call that dragon. I will follow the amazing, incredible inspiration, because it's just such an amazing name that George R.R. Martin called his dragon in Game of Thrones. Lily, you're not going to believe the amazing name that he used to call one of the dragons, okay?
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
You're not ready for this. This is the name of the dragon. Drogon.
Oh,
The dragon is named Drogon.
that's brilliant.
It's brilliant. It's like calling a fish Fesh or Fash.
I don't know if I can get my head around that. See, this is why my books don't sell. Because I can't think of something like that.
Your books sell though.
Not like his.
Do you know there were times when in my books that I would think of how can I name like things that they don't really matter, but I want them to have like some cool names. Maybe it's just like some reference or whatever, and I'm like, I'm gonna put some video game references in my sci-fi story by naming systems after characters of some video games as a little like haha for anyone who has it. So I'm pretty sure there's like a star system in Bounty Hunter that's called the Triss system.
I think so too, now that you mention it.
I think there's a tally system as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's just all the waifus from video games. Yeah. Because I'm like, no one who plays video games that much is going to read these, and it's like, oh, now they're linked to a video game channel.
That's
Shit.
Yeah, I remember that now that you say it. You heard a lot of ones like that.
The rare Mass Effect waifu. Yeah. Anyone in chat, was Tali your waifu? And on a scale of 1 to the end of Danganronpa Danganronpa 1 and 2 put together, how disappointed were you when they finally showed her face in Mass Effect 3? How disappointed on a scale of the combined shit that was Danganronpa 1 and 2 ending?
That is a pretty name.
End of Danganronpa disappointing. 7. What does the Joker card do? Oh, that is what the Joker card does. Okay. Well, let's take this. Okay, so are there any other questions from that were asked repeatedly in the chat that we missed tonight? And if not, then we are going to call it as soon as I die in the game, or maybe even before then. I don't think we need to finish. It's the best card, Joker. Is it? Okay, so you can get if there's no devil room on that floor, you can still get to the devil room. Like the door wouldn't open, I mean. You can still get a devil card. The devil rooms seem really strong. Or are they Satan rooms? What are they called?
Have you watched 1982 The Thing?
I think I have, but I don't remember it that much, sorry. That movie is 3 years older than I am. They're devil deals? Okay.
You're the first person I've seen express such a negative opinion of Black Panther. Mostly I see a range from meh to great, so now I'm very curious why you didn't like it. Black Panther, why you didn't
From
like it?
meh to great. Oh, sorry. I was more like incredulous that it was considered to be this amazing movie. My opinion on it is meh. You know, like it's like it's definitely not the worst Marvel movie. Like I would probably put one of the Captain Americas on the worst one for that one, or maybe the second Ant-Man. I don't know. I like Paul Rudd, so I don't know which one it would be, but it was like. It was all right. It had some interesting like world building, and like that car scene I think in the middle of it was decent, but the ending was a complete train wreck, and I thought the CGI in that final scene was just absolutely terrible, and I am stunned that it made it into the final cut of the movie. I thought I was watching something from a PS1 demo disc, you know, like an FMV sequence that coming out from something in the like the Final Fantasy VII original era or something. Like I'm not even kidding, you know, like that was just fucking terrible. I can't believe how bad that was. Black Panther, the final fight sequence in Black Panther was just fucking awful. So these persist between runs. I didn't know that. I thought that this was something that was like, if you have some spare coins on the first floor, donate, and the floor on the next shop will be worth more.
Which two Captain Americas you don't like?
The first two. The first Avenger was pretty boring. Again, like I don't hate these movies. Like they're just kind of meh. Yeah, Captain America was pretty boring, and the Winter Soldier was pretty boring too. It had a cool moment. The elevator scene is a cool moment, but yeah. Huh? Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe we shouldn't have got that. Did we just lose all of our damage bonus from getting whatever the fuck we got from the devil deal? You fool. Oh no, I'm a fool. I'm sorry. It's my first day. No, it's good because now I get more God Rays from the sky. Ah. Flexen is the only one here. What? But Penny? Flexen is the only one here that knows how to play this game. I just want you to know, like, no matter how many hours you have in this game, Flexen's better than Oh, thank you to Action Caterer for the 13-month resub. 13 is the unlucky number. Moo goes the cow. Joe and Lily, what's your favorite animal word for the noise they make?
Well, I have to say oink because I like pigs. I was tempted to say honk because, you know, that's how
Yeah.
but then I also like the horse when they go.
Yeah.
But that's not really saying it, that's doing it. So I'm going to stick with oink.
I like moose.
But what sound do they make?
Moose.
Do they really say that?
No. They
What
kind
sound
of.
do they make?
Have you ever seen a moose?
Not up close.
Meese are gigantic. You have no idea how big a meese are, man. No, you don't know.
Meese.
Why are you laughing?
Not a word.
It is. If goose are geese.
It's not though. We say that, but it's not really.
If goose are geese, then moose are meese. What are you talking about?
It's like fish.
What you talking about? What you talking about?
We say meese as a joke, but it's
If goose are geese, then moose are meese. I'm not even kidding. I will die on this hill. I will die on this hill. If you want to call them mooses, then I'm calling them
It's
gooses.
moose. It's plural. It's like fish.
No.
It's not fishes. It's fish.
Oh, I was out in the woods the other day. Saw a moose. Oh, how many did you see? Oh, you don't know.
What if you said you saw some moose?
I saw moose. How many? Just one. No. I don't agree
Says
with this.
the Welshman. Like you've ever seen a moose.
I've never seen a moose, actually. You're right.
You do the accent way better than me.
I'm called out.
But you're Welsh.
You know what they say? You can take a moose to Tim Hortons, but you can't make him drink a double
I
double.
love that. I love when you say that one.
What's the other one we had? I can't remember it now.
Isn't that about beaver?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what it was now.
I thought I saw a raccoon in the trash the other day. Turns out it was just a beaver with a beard.
I love that one. Oh man.
Gotta be Canadian.
Oh, he did this already in Toronto. This is not new. Can't even blame Moncton for that.
Wow, you picked up soy milk. Interesting strategy. Yeah, I don't know what the items are. Like, we even got this tonight, and I just picked it up because I was just like, fuck it. I don't know what they do. I didn't realize there were negative synergies. Like, it makes perfect sense that there are. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, whatever. Like, if it's there, I pick it up. This is how I play. I really wish I hadn't.
Why are y'all taking my question this seriously, spending time on my stupid question?
Thank you to Keld B. Jones, too, or Keld B. Jones, for the 500 bits. Sorry, that was a while ago. Sorry we didn't say thank you. Love your videos and appreciate your thoughtfulness. Really? After that? Well, this is before I said the dumb meese joke. Fucking hell. Oh, 2 keys. Nice. Thank you for the bits, and I'm sorry. You know why Latin became in like a million different languages? Because people started making up their own words for moose. Exactly. Exactly. Why did they call them moose?
It should be meese. It just isn't. Just like it should be fishes. I like Goose Game. I think they did very well. Like, that goose is a goose.
It is a goose, yeah.
Like, it inhabits the attitude and, like, even the waddle so well. Like, speaking from, like, a Canada goose, like, I've seen up close. I've seen closer than I want to see. Like, they nailed it. Finn really liked it.
Yeah, he liked Goose Game. Well, this item sucks.
I understand where you're coming from, Sprinter, but Canadian geese are evil.
They are evil.
They'll chase you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know what happens if they catch you. When I was pregnant with Finn, there was a whole bunch of them that used to hang out outside the hospital. And I used to have to walk past them going to the bus. And I was always scared if they tried to chase me. Like, if you're 8 months pregnant, how are you going to run? So, like, luckily I was okay. If it should be anything, it should be mooses. I understand the meese is more efficient, but mooses is consistent. It is consistent, but then it should be gooses too.
I think gooses sounds better than geese.
Meeson, man. A goose once pulled my sister's hair. Oh, that's terrifying. It was close enough to do that. Yeah, geese are the Canadian mafia.
I don't understand how this item would ever be good. Why would you want to hold a bunch of shots in one area like this? I guess maybe for when the mom appears to take damage or something. Like, that's so situational.
Lily deserves a purple heart for surviving the geese. I'm just lucky. I'm lucky they didn't try.
So is it the smaller the pentagram, the more damage it deals?
I was chased by a goose on a beach when I was like 6, and now I have PTSD towards those fucks. Oh, I feel you. I'm glad I'm not in your position.
There's a beach goose? Or was it a freshwater beach?
That must have been terrifying.
Is Untitled Goose Game a horror game? When is there going to be Untitled Moose Game? I think that would be pretty good, don't you? Alright, let's die. Oh, we're at mom. Alright. Oh, okay. Alright, we're done. We're done. We're done. You're done. We're done. Oh man, we're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. Okay, so before we leave, how should the format work for subs asking questions? Twitch subs asking questions? So should it be that we open the channel for a week and then we close it and then we answer all those questions for as many Fridays as it takes? And then we close it and then we reopen it and then you take another flood of questions and then we close it? That's
Yeah,
it.
that
Because
makes
otherwise,
sense.
if we leave it open forever, there's just going to be this never-ending
No,
thing
and
of
then you get
questions,
people
right?
asking multiple questions for the month when it was always, the format was always 2 questions and as many small as you want, right?
Yeah.
And then you might have people going and asking like 5 questions or 10 questions, and like there's no cutoff, right?
Yeah. If we're opening it to everyone, maybe it should only be one question each, one long question each. Because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more people. Isn't there a subs only chat mode? Yeah, but we like to have the questions ahead of time so we can structure it, because otherwise a question might get lost in all the questions that are being asked. It's also really easy for, the barrier of entry for someone to sub and then like ruin that chat is like there's very little protection. You probably don't run from the goose, you just hit it, break its bones, and then it dies. The last part is probably partially a stupid joke. Chat, is Joe gonna play more Code Vein? I'm still watching VODs and have a fan art to share. That's we're gonna be playing Code Vein on Tuesday. Those are our normal stream days. Today is a Q&A and we're actually done. We're about to stop. So I think we're gonna open that chat when that chat room up and we'll take it through it that way. We'll open up for a week?
I think a week is good, and then how long it takes us might take us 3 weeks to get through however many, right? We don't know how many they're gonna be.
I don't know if I can render this
That's
all
a month.
together. Maybe it's gonna have to be 2 parts for the Q&A. I want to render it all together with chat. It shouldn't be too bad, but we'll see. Joe, look at the Disco Elysium game. It's gonna be out this month. It's a detective RPG with some innovations on the writing part. That sounds interesting. Anyway, thank you very much for stopping by, everybody. If you are a Q&A streamer only, shall see you next Friday. This one went the smoothest in terms of interruptions, but probably went the worst for me answering questions. Last week wasn't all that great either for me answering questions. Sorry about that. I'm juggling a lot right now, so maybe we should ask for some lighter questions for these Q&As, and we can treat it a little bit more like a podcast for a while, but I'll do my best on the heavier ones. It's just juggling too much with The Witcher at the moment, but we'll see. A person suffering from this condition feels that somewhere in the world a duck or a goose is watching him, her, not attacking or touching, simply watching the individual. Wow.
Spooky.
Is that a real thing? I came late and lurked a bit, but I still enjoyed the stream. Good night, generally. Thanks, Crocano. Okay, see you guys later. Have a good weekend.
Good night, everybody.
If you're a regular stream person, then we shall see you on Tuesday for more Code Cringe. Oh, that I should make that the title.
good one.
Code Cringe. Yeah, that's pretty good.